There, rocking out over here, Rodney.
I know it, man. I'm loving that intro.
Man, I saw Jim Lauer first. Who'd you see?
Same.
Yep, Jim. There's Shannon Wise. There's Jim. Hey, guys, he says. All right. Okay. Hi, Jim. Hi, Shannon.
How's it going, Gary? How's your week?
Good. I'm coughing over here. Yep. Pretty good week. Good weekend. If you're hiding inside, that is.
Holy cow.
Shannon Campbell's watching. What's up, Shannon Campbell?
Shannon Campbell. What a storm. I heard it didn't come your way, but it rained down south and out east, man. I'm telling you what.
Yeah, I didn't get a drop of anything over here. I don't know. I didn't get nothing. Yeah, and then I seen about the Russell Foreman. Hey, Russell. I seen the news talking about canceling the air show, and I'm like, well, what's going on over there? I look at the radar, and and it's clear over here. It's clear as can be, and man, it's a mess. You know, like downtown and down southeast and down your way. I didn't get anything over here. So at 11 o'clock, it was still cloudy. It was about 88 degrees. There was a tiny little breeze. I went out and mowed the yard. Then the middle of the afternoon, I looked at my phone. It was like 102 or something.
Yeah, brutal.
Yeah,
brutal.
I'm almost done with yard duty.
About 2 more weeks?
I think 2 more weeks.
Nice.
Yep. Nice. I think the boss even said so. 2 more weeks.
She's firing you.
Like, come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting demoted.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
I was going to go do mine today, but couldn't. Stand in water. Bored.
Yeah.
That's all right. Good problem to have.
Yeah, and it's supposed to cool off later in the week. That'll be great.
No doubt.
Maybe this weekend was the end of the hundreds for the summer of 2024.
I'll take it.
Let's hope, right?
I'll take it.
Man.
See,
Andrew. There's Andrew Lovett. Andrew Lovett. Evening, fellas. Hey, Andrew. Yep. I'm ready for some nice weather.
I am as well.
Yeah. Yep. Man.
I think Andrew about have Troy's car wrapped up there. I saw some spy photos.
Yeah.
Looking good. They probably get it running next week, I'm assuming.
Andrew, how far away are you guys from firing up that Hemi?
Fire up the Hemi.
Fire up the Hemi. Adam Phillips watching. Hey, Adam.
How's it going, Mr. Adam?
Man, is anybody more excited to go racing than Troy?
Oh, goodness. No,
man.
Ain't that
Tim Alt? Yeah, man, he's been out for a while. He's super, super close.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait. Hope, maybe he'll make it to Tulsa, or is that too soon?
I hope not. Be a perfect time. Come stretch the legs.
Cameron Marsoff watching. Hey, Cameron. Tim Alt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Cameron. He's busy. He's got a race. He's got to work. He's got a wedding to plan. He's busy.
Yeah, that's a lot of things to do.
Yeah. And I didn't mean it in that order. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, Lauren, I didn't mean it in that order. It's wedding.
Work, then race. He does that in the order that she demands.
Is that what it is? Oh, I know for sure.
That's how it works, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you slide that ring on to make it official.
Oh yeah, that's the truth right there. She takes care of all that. Yeah, he just says, "What time am I supposed to be there? What am I supposed to be wearing?" That's it.
Well, well, it sounds like Cameron needs some jobs. She needs a to-do list for the Cameron.
Is that
right? Russell says, "Is Hot Rod ready for a rematch at Tulsa?" Bring it on, man.
Oh my goodness. I am ready.
Rodney's going to be in limited. Well, you're going to be in limited class.
I'll just have to run both.
Well, okay. Right on.
You got to drive them back and forth. So, man, Russell, I was thinking about that this week. That was a great time, man. Last time we were all there, that was a great time.
It was.
But we'll be back. But
only difference this time is Rodney's going to win limited.
Oh, man. Golly.
I'm standing on my rock that says Rodney's going to win limited.
I think just, I'm excited. I don't want to call my shot. I'm excited. I appreciate the support.
That's okay. I got you covered. I got your back.
But I can say right now, it's 100% limited legal as we speak right now.
Man, sweet.
100% legal. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Russell says that's okay. We got a wagon to race him in limited. That's fine. Bring wagons and trailers and whatever. Bring everything you got. Okay, bring it on.
Grocery getter? What'd you call that the other day?
Yes, grocery getter. Nitrous huffing grocery getter. Bring it on. Bring it on. Andrew had something to say. He said, it's close. Keith did some trimming on the motor plate for us and just about finished the wiring. Man, that's close.
Nice. It's
super
this week. It's got to. Oh, sounds great.
Yep, that's cool. Yeah, can't wait to see it.
Cameron's got it right there. You see that?
Yeah, and how much money you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you saw? Yeah.
As soon as the wedding's over, Cameron's going to go buy 2 new motors from TRE. You know what I mean?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Woo. Is that his wedding gift?
Well, I'm just saying he'll have that much more money. You know what I mean? Because how the weddings are, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
Saving up for a year, you know, those weddings, they cost all those rings and whatnot. And they got all these things. You got to go to this party, that party, do all these things, you know. Yeah.
Crazy.
At least 2 more.
No more weddings for me, man. Woo.
Well, you got one coming up one day.
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
That's a whole different story. Brandon Ash says Cameron wants to get into offshore boat racing after this weekend's trip. Oh no.
Oh man.
Where'd he go to, like Lake of the Ozarks or something? Is that where they had
Scott and Tony and those guys?
Where they have them killer badass boats?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Well, when it's 100 degrees out, it's better to be at the lake.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Troy says might have to order tires soon. Man, Troy, you better get on it.
Get them ordered. Get them ordered. Let's go. Hell, I just thought I saw who was that?
Justin Heckman. He's got tires, doesn't he?
Well, so does Joseph Thomas, doesn't he?
And Joseph, yeah. Is he? I didn't see. Maybe
he is.
Oh, Zach West, Spencer Eldred, Blake Housley.
Got the whole team. Blake Housley,
Mrs. Harper.
Right on.
Yep, hey, there's tires.
You want to take a second and just kind of lay out our plan for the next 3 weeks?
Yes, and I'm going to cheat. Look at my calendar. Man, we got some bangers lined up.
We do.
Like for the next 3 weeks after this. So next weekend is Labor Day weekend, isn't it? Yeah. So September the 1st, September 6th and 7th, we're going to Tulsa to race Titans. So the weekend prior, we're going to have Larry and Al back.
Woo-hoo.
Larry and Al are awesome. They're always fun to hang out with. Woo! Titans, let's go. So we're going to have Larry and Al talking about the Tulsa race. After the Titans race is Sunday, September 8th. That will be show number 50. And we've got a special. Do we want to say it now or do we want to wait? Do we want to say who it is?
That's up to you.
Or do we want to make it? Do we want to wait?
We can say it now.
Okay. So number 50 on September 8th is going to be Mr. Chris Maybrier. Mr. Arc City, the big dog at the Arc City track. We're going to get him for number 50, a big special show for number 50. And the weekend after that, September 15th, that will lead up to the big Pro Mod race at Flying H, where you'll be going the Smackdown. Man, you'll be racing small tire there. Yep. So we're going to get Blake Housley, the VP of Flying H, back on September 15th. So we got some big ones lined up.
Got some legends.
Yes.
Getting it down.
So, man, I don't think we've ever had a lineup this far out like this.
I know it. I'm liking it. They're lining up. They're knocking on the door. Hey, is there any way? But for us talking about Chris Maybrower coming on, he's the one that helped get us started here. I think everybody knows the story a few years back. And since we thought, number 50, that just lined up perfect. And so we bring him in, talk about his story, his family, the track, the Harpers, the whole deal. It's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be great. Oh yeah. And learn some stuff about Chris, racing and stuff. Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Then we reached out to Blake. Hey, SmackDown, it lines right up, help promote that. What was what even 60 seconds? And he's like, I'm in.
Boom.
I'm in.
Yep.
So
Blake will be great.
Nothing but a good time.
Yep.
I think Blake probably win that reaction award. Don't you think?
I think so.
$1,000 just to let go. Bam. Double
right.
Bam. 00.
He was quick on the response there with that. It was cool.
He was.
And he's a busy guy, and he was all in immediately.
All in.
Let's go.
Lineup, man. We're stacked.
Oh yeah.
We need to get our beauty sleep. I hope Jared got his beauty sleep last night too, because he's gonna be coming on here a little bit. And I know everybody's gonna be talking with him. It's gonna be nothing but a good time.
That's right. Jared's gonna have some great stories.
Yeah. Well, cool. Let's get rolling.
All right. This real quick. Jared, this is Joseph Thomas. He's talking about tires. We could help if needed. Troy, Joseph can get you some tires.
There you go.
Larry Hunt says, if I get mine put together, I'll be racing at Tulsa Titans. Right on, Larry. Cool deal.
Heck yeah.
My buddy Tim Alt, he's down in Texas. He's done a lot of racing out here. Is Wichita's track up and running? It is, Tim. Yep. You can hit their schedule and see what they got going on. I don't really know for sure.
They got a website.
Yep. And it's not a traditional schedule like you've known in the past, Tim. I think they shut down sometime in September because they have to let the people that's like leasing the track or renting for the holiday deal to get prepped. So to get it prepped for the holiday thing that goes on. So it doesn't run late like it used to. So check the schedule, Tim. It's a little different now. Just make sure you know what's going on.
Yeah. Hey, your boss is watching, Tiffany Weeks. You better clean it up.
She's not my boss. Get out of here with that. Get out of here. My boss. She's the boss of the yard, maybe.
Boss lady.
I keep trying to get fired and it just don't work.
No, she's got it figured out.
Man. Yeah, I'll help her out. It's all right.
Then time out.
Hey, the yard, it's still green and it's still growing, so I'm not doing too bad. Yep. You ready to rock on and dig into some stuff?
Yeah.
All right, let's move over and let's see what's been going on at your place. Look at this.
Look at that. See, I got a mirror hanging on. It's official.
Oh, streetcar mirror. Look at that.
Yeah, that's all you have to have is a mirror, and you're in limited.
Because it's limited.
Yeah.
Limited street.
I read the rules. Limited 275.
Man.
Yeah.
That looks good, Rod. That looks really good.
Yeah, man. Once again, just can't say enough about Ultracolor. They knocked it out. That door wasn't even with that car when they painted it. Got the moldings on, got the window in. It put about 400 pounds on the car total. 200.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, about 250.
I thought.
Yeah. First
I thought it'd been way. You probably better. I think you're light. You better. I expected way more. Really.
Altogether,
Man, that iron's heavy, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's heavy. The mirror and everything. Yeah. That's it.
This,
and
this looks like this looks like a brand new car. Did you just order this from Henry? Or, did Henry just build this car for you? This looks like brand new.
Oh no. Yeah, it's a
holy moly.
25.
Dang. Nice, slick, shiny door. My door panel don't look like that. It's the same thing, but it don't look like that. Mine's dirty.
But I'm excited. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Okay. It's not Tiffany watching. It's her sister, Julie. All right. Hi, Julie.
Using the name. But yeah, we got this finished up and scaled the car again. We had to put about 300 more pounds in it to even it out. And
golly.
Heavy. That first number is a 4.
Well, speaking of 4, you'll be lucky if it goes 4s again very soon, man. Come on.
I'm excited to go to Tulsa. It's going to be nothing but a good time.
Yeah, I can't wait
it's not 151 degrees like it was last time. Hopefully it's a little cooler.
I do too.
God,
that was terrible.
Yeah. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the wagon coming out. Myself racing with Spaniac and
I'm excited for you to whip all their asses.
And yeah. So I'm excited. We're gonna have a good time.
Larry says no frustration door slam marks on that door yet from a losing
Hey,
not yet.
That's the truth.
Hey, there's not going to be, Larry. He's not going to lose a round.
Since he said that, I got to come clean. Before I took this picture, I was rubbing on that inner fender stuff to get that off from before. That was awesome.
That's funny.
But, it does definitely have the steel sound now. You know, it's back on. So
yeah,
I think it'll be worth it. I'm ready to, let's try it. Let's have some fun.
Well, I'm excited to see you go.
Yeah.
Yep, we got our room. We got rooms locked in. Mm-hmm. You've got room in the bank for that winner's check, I'm sure. You're gonna win.
Woo! God, that monkey just keep climbing.
Whatever. Hey, I'm not. Never mind. I'm not gonna say nothing. I was gonna say something real stupid that would probably set myself up. I better not.
Yeah. Hold on.
Darren Kesey says, question about limited 275.
Yeah.
Fire away, Darren. We'll try. And Larry, he's got the rules, and Larry Hunt is right here. So fire away.
Specialist right there.
Is it no time at every track? No.
This clocks are on, right?
This is clocks on, right? Yes, it better be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clocks on.
Yeah. Good question. Yep. What else you got, Gary?
Yep. You don't know if you don't know.
Yeah,
so
great question.
Yes. I don't think there's any classes in Titans that are clocks off, is there? I think everything's on, aren't they?
That's my understanding, yeah. The same with Arc City and Flying H as well.
Yep.
Yeah, there's official.
Yep. Larry confirms clocks on. Good deal. Thanks, Larry.
Great question.
All right. Now you're ready to see something really cool. You've been waiting for this.
What is it? Oh,
there you are.
It's official.
Today, Tulsa Raceway Park puts this out. Titans at 10-5 are coming to Tulsa Raceway Park. Come see racers like Rodney Dowell put down serious power in the limited 275 tire at Osage Casino and Hotel, Tulsa Raceway Park. The weekend is September 6th to 7th. That's in 2 weeks. Yeah. With minimal rules, these classes are made for the best heads-up racing of the quickest cars in the country. And Rodney Dowell is locked into limited 275.
Wow. No, it's going to be a great time.
Yep.
Great time. That's a great picture. That's at Blake's place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, I saw that today. That's awesome. We're excited to go. And on a side note, too, I'm glad they got my name right because I saw Russell Foreman got an orange fourth gen this week. I don't know if you saw
I've seen that.
I realized Adam sold it fairly.
Yeah, that was funny.
But no, it's going to be a good time. Yeah, we're going to be busy here. We got Tulsa, we got Flying H, then we're going to roll down to Mad, bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, 3 of the 4 weekends in September will be at the track.
That's it. I'm ready to get back. Let the temperatures go down.
Yep.
Get the record set. Let's do it.
Yep. And so that's 2 weeks. So just kind of on the page of where we're going, 2 weeks after Tulsa is the SmackDown, September 19th, 21st. Flying H posted this. They call it the local classes, Outlaw Small Tire, Limited Street, and True Street. You are signed up for Outlaw Small Tire, right?
Right. We're locked in. I mean, signed up.
Right.
Got my little deal right here. I mean, it's printed off. We're signed off.
Oh, look at that. Yes.
And we got 3 or 4 weekend passes deals. We're all locked. We're going.
Larry says, somehow I knew you guys would bring up the Foreman poster debacle. Oh, that's funny.
I'm just having fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to SmackDown as well. You know, we talked about it. We'll probably get somewhere hopefully in the middle of the parking lot. I like being up there on the middle section.
Up on the mid-level. Yeah.
Myself. You know, we still roll around, and you got to see over, and it's going to be nothing but a good time.
Maybe this time we'll park over there at that area where where we can just walk over and peek over and see the track.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Excited for that as well.
Yep. We got, the racetrack is, outside of Odessa there. It just a economic issue with motels. I called to get our motels.
Yeah.
And the motel said, "Oh man, we're booked up. I don't know what's going on that weekend, whatever." And I said, "Well, there's a big race at the Flying H racetrack over by Odessa." And he goes, "Man, you guys have had our motel busy this summer." So, there's a Holiday Inn Express in Oak Grove.
Yeah.
So, and that was just middle of the week. So it's a month out, and the motel is booked that weekend. So, FYI, if you're going to go to Flying H with a big event, get it sooner than a month out, because that Holiday Inn Express that's really close to the track, or the closest ish, it books up. So,
well, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Hope Blake's listening. Feed that back to Scott. Just the impact that's doing for the city as far as hotels, food, groceries, Waffle House.
That's the same exit Waffle House is on.
Yep.
Yes.
The gas, it's all good.
Larry says, on a side note, Russell was just testing the turbo waters, knowing that someday his bottles are going empty. Oh, man.
You letting something out of the bag there? Letting cat out of the bag.
Oh, that's good stuff. Let's see what Russell says about that. So, that's just a little bit of where we're going, at least for 2 times in September, Tulsa and Flying H. And that same weekend, there's Pro Mods, and we're going to get into some more of the Pro Mod stuff later on with Blake in the weeks to come. But they also announced a $1,000 bonus to both of the they call this the main event winner and the undercard winner, which I guess you could call that the second chance or the B, whatever. So $1,000 to the best reaction time in the Pro Mod eliminations. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Just got to kill our light and haul home some cash.
Looks like Scott and Keith both got in on that deal, so that's good stuff there.
Yep, on the old check there. You remember seeing this? Pete Harrell posted this. This was yesterday. Just finished building a Gen 1, because I got something about mine here real quick. Just finished building a Gen 1 LS.
Mm-hmm.
Hear that again. A Gen 1 LS engine with a mean HE&B custom cam. I seen this and I took a double look at it and I'm like, hey, that's a small block Ford. He's correct. Gen 1 LS.
He's right. I mean, LS is a small block Ford. I mean, if you take an LS apart, which I have, I've taken enough small block Fords apart.
Yeah.
So they copied about 9 things. So yeah, that's good stuff there. Whoever did that post, that was funny. I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah, that was Pete Harrell. That was funny.
Yeah.
Larry says, don't forget Street Machines at Ozark, September. Oh,
14.
So that's the weekend between.
Yeah,
right on.
Yeah. So there's
there's Gary Spaniak saying the same thing. Street Machines at Ozark.
Yeah.
Right on.
And they got limited. They got outlaw there too. Plus the index courses. Yeah. Yep. Nice. That's just like can't stop, won't stop. All the races.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody's gonna catch that good weather change, and it's time to go. This is that's a new turbo that showed up from Jose on Thursday.
What?
Yep.
Look at you.
So
for that new modern Ford LS you're building.
Yep, for that Gen 2 small block Ford. And
that looks like
Joseph, look at that 88.
Yeah, it looks like an 88 to me.
Man. And shout out to Joseph Thomas at Garage Built. Ordered this through Joseph. And what a great dude.
Knows how big it is.
Well,
that's perfect.
Well, I know.
Lock it in.
He just ratted me out, right?
He did. That's awesome.
And if anybody needs a 118 millimeter forced inductions, give me a shout. I got one in the closet for sale. I did a little mock-up with the Innovators West belt drive stuff. I got a couple Blim pieces from Chris Rose at Innovators West. I had to see some stuff for mock-up to kind of get a good idea. There's some accessory holes that I'm going to use that was like my big block, those 2 outer holes, the alternator bracket on the passenger side, and the other 2 holes would be like a fuel pump deal, kind of similar to stuff for what I had. So this would be pretty ideal for what I'm wanting to do. I need a little alteration here and there, but it's easy stuff. I can handle that pretty easy. Larry says pure built turbo. Joseph Thomas says he said limited small tire at Flying H is on notice for SmackDown. Man, I wish I could get this together that quick.
He's ready.
I don't even have a block. I don't have a crank.
Let's get him welded. Let's
2
go.
tubes. I don't have heads. Man.
Yeah, Joseph knows what's up.
But
hey,
he knows.
Joseph can get you all that stuff. Just go call Joseph. He'll get you a motor, heads, block, crank.
Send it all. There's a cam sensor bracket there that I talked to Chris a little bit in text. We might move that a little bit. A different location might be better for this if you're trying to use like one of the water manifolds, or really nice billet water manifolds that people sell. So that's kind of an issue, can be taken care of later. Another deal with Innovators West. This is obviously that's an ATI balancer, but this is a daily, if you're into LS stuff, this is a daily pan and pump. Daily does, like, their stuff is set up with like ATI balancer stuff. And I think as we're going to develop the stuff with my engine, Innovators is going to develop and design this setup with their balancer to offer it for daily customers that want to use the same thing with an Innovators balancer. So that's kind of going to get on the sketchboard as things progress with my engine. So
nice.
So so that's kind of cool. Well, I think Mark has ordered the pan and pump set up, and Mark and Chris will work together and get all the details worked out with how the balancer needs to be built to put this gear behind the balancer like this that runs that pump. So a little R&D and new product development. So
cutting edge there.
Yeah.
Well, when you got people like Chris meeting you at, Fox Rod Racing to give you parts and stuff, you got to be a somebody,
Yeah, right.
Golly.
Well, maybe it might be something they can add to their catalog for.
They'll probably have this at ARI with your name on it. You probably have to sign it.
Well, maybe. Yeah, you never know. Here's our buddy Brian Carpenter.
Yeah.
We was trying to decode what this meant, number 10 in a row. We don't know.
Yeah.
You said what track it was.
Oh man, what did Joey call it? Let me look that up again.
But looks like beater bomb in the other lane.
Yeah, Joey Heichel,
right?
Him and Brian in the final. Yeah.
So they said our house 10 in a row. So I guess that means they've won 10 in a row at whatever this track is, which is spectacular.
Cash at the Creek race.
Cash at the Creek.
And just to let everybody know too, we've been in touch with Carpenter, and he knows about the.
What for?
Huh?
What for?
Well, we want to come down to the races down south here. You know what I mean?
Right.
He said that he usually puts his stuff away in September because park the RVs and park the rig because of the coldness sinking in. But we'll see. There definitely going to be enough money to go race, so we'll see if he comes back to Flying H. Comes to Tulsa, comes to Arc City. He's got plenty of options. He's out there winding that thing up. So, we'll see what happens.
That's cool. Congrats to them guys.
Yeah.
10 in a row. Woo. Last weekend, and I think we found out about it a little late, but last weekend, NHRA, oh crap, I forget where they was at, but this is Brad Waddle. This is Brad Waddle that owns Innovators West, and Chris Rose is like the product manager, sales manager. I'm not sure. He's part of that outfit up there at Innovators West in Salina. So this is Brad Waddle. I've been good friends with Brad for a really long time. Brad Brad runs this car in Mountain Motor Pro Stock, giant. I don't know. There's 700, 800, 900 inch, big motors, clutch stuff. I don't know what kind of transmission it is, but he loves the 3 pedals and he loves shifting these things. This is a Mountain Motor Pro Stock car. He won the NHRA. They ran with the NHRA last weekend, and he wins that event. There's him and his wife Liz. Here he is with his Wally on the roof.
Nice.
So what a cool deal to win a race like that.
There you go. There at Brainerd. It said it right there, Gary.
Oh, Brainerd. Okay. Oh, there it is. This was his Facebook post earlier in the week. We won Mountain Motor Pro Stock in Brainerd, Minnesota.
Nice. Yeah.
And Chris verified when I talked to Chris Saturday that Brad was in a good mood this week.
Oh, I'm sure. So, that's a good week to ask for a raise. You know what I mean?
Right. So congrats to Brad Waddle and the Innovators West team and Brad and his crew. Chris told me a few more races he's going to for the the remainder of the year. So good luck to them guys.
Heck yeah.
He's got an awesome car.
Yeah. There's
a nice winter circle picture. Yep. Good job, Innovators West. Brad Waddle, way to go. Nice car. Shout out to Derek Kelly and his wife Haley Kelly. She races this little truck. They call this little truck Lil Bill.
Yeah.
She races it in the 7.0 class. They was at XRP, and it looks like she won. And she's got a handful of cash in that left hand in that little picture on the right. So, congrats to Haley Kelly on winning down there at XRP. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. And in his Facebook post about this, I said, well, she's got a great coach on her team. And he said, yeah, she won't let me touch the laptop. So, yep.
That's it.
And that's all we got for pictures on that end. Yeah.
That's a good week. A lot of good stuff going on.
Yeah. Just when I thought there wasn't much that rolled through the week, there kind of turned out that there was when I started looking today.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, as soon as the fall gets through, it's definitely going to be coming, more and more action. Got 4 races in a row.
Yeah.
There every week. So
yeah, there'll be no shortage of stuff for sure.
No doubt. Well, you get Mr. Jared in here?
Yeah. Oh, there he is. I see his arm. Okay.
Yeah. He's ready.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Ready.
He woke up and fell asleep for about 20 minutes listening to us yap out here.
He's like, man, come on.
Yeah. It's late night signing autographs.
Yes.
Let
me get ready here. You're ready for Jared?
Let's bring him in.
All right. Let's make room for Jared. Everybody, here's Jared Johnston. Hey, Jared.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Man, how you doing, buddy?
Just hanging in there, just listening to you guys talk. So is that true? All you got to have is a mirror on your door, Rodney, to run?
No.
You wouldn't believe how much that mirror weighs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, it just says officially. Let me see if I can find it. Now you got me over here. Yeah, factory roof, quarters, and doors. Okay. Factory roof, quarters, and doors. So it's a factory
doors. Factory doors.
With a factory mirror.
Factory mirrors. That's right.
Yeah. We still have factory mirrors on the carbon doors on the right now. They work for everything.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh man.
Cool. Yeah. So you've probably seen the show a few times before. We come on, talk about a little about your racing, and we grab some pictures from what you sent over, what we grabbed off Facebook. We'll just kind of do your whole story as it goes through. At the end, we'll ask you to take a moment to thank the people that got you here, who you raced with, who you couldn't have done this without. So one of the questions I'm already going to ask, and hopefully I'm not taking this away from Gary, and we can ask this later, is how the car got the name. So you can think about that for later.
Good question. Yeah. Good question.
But let's take it to the left.
Yeah, let's get there later.
Yeah, and to be honest,
that's a funny story on that one.
Good.
Like I knew you before I knew you. because when I was getting back into it, X275, you know, as John Shears was talking about, kind of blew up when it did. Before I bought my car, I just Googled X275 in 2016, and that car just bam, 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 bam. That's all it was your car. I'm like, who's this dude? You know, and of course I started following. It was awesome. Of course, I'm a Bennett fan from back in the day when he sold the black car to Billy Glick back then. You know, so I've been following. So, but I'm not trying to take over right now. I want you to talk. So let's talk about it. Did you?
Hey, hang on a second. Okay. Hang on. Look, there, you, just little old me over here, and you two white Mustang coupe owners with small block Ford. I'm outgunned over here, man. Look at you guys. Jeez.
Get in where you fit in, right? I mean,
man, no, I'm a loser over here.
Fox Body Lifestyle. You're part of it, Gary.
Oh, okay, thanks.
The little red LS Express, right? You know, I mean,
little red turd.
Gen 2 LS to the front, right?
Gen 2 LS.
Yes.
That's a lot. Yeah. So, was your dad into racing, uncle into racing? Did you race in high school? I mean, you probably graduated like 3 years ago, it looks like, but.
I'm a lot older than that. No,
4 years ago.
I wish. No, you know, Dad, my father and my brother used to street race a lot. And I was more, you know, when they were subscribed to 50 Mustang magazine and Muscle Mustangs and Fast Forwards, you know, that I was a kid. So when I got them, I just looked at all the pictures. Like they read the articles. I looked at the pictures. So I became an avid fan of all the NMRA and Fun 4 guys that ran like SSO or Pro 50 mostly because they were doing big cover spreads and stories for them. That's who I was a fan of, like Doug Mangrum, Steve Grebeck, Chuck Samuels, Glidden. All those guys were like guys that I loved watching. Well, so Dad, you know, went street racing and then got my brother involved when he was of the age. And then it evolved into going to the track more because, you know, KCIR, wish it was still around, but they had a high school program every fall and spring for high school kids to bring their cars, and they had bracket classes for them, and kids get off the streets and go have some fun at the track. It was a great program. Watched my brother and all his friends do it. Then when I got of age, I started doing it. And that's really where it started. But, you know, I started racing and my racing career in a Corvette. So I'm a poor guy at heart, but it started with a Corvette.
Hey, Jared, what was your dad's street racing back then? What kind of car was he racing on the street?
He raced, honest dude. He has a 71 Boss 351 that he would race, and he had the same white coupe that I drive now. He raced that car, and then my brother had a 91 Fox Body that they built together. Had an S trim on it and nitrous and, you know, all kinds of things, experimented with the AODs, which were junk, and we all know they're junk. Sure. But, you know, teaching everybody, you know, my brother and everyone learned how to drive sticks and converted the cars. And but Dad was big into it way before we were of age. But as we were growing up, he kind of kept the cars at work and would go have races after work with all his buddies and truck drivers and stuff. And then he'd come home and, you know, he wouldn't talk much about it until we got old enough. And then once we got involved with it, you know, it was honestly, you know, it was my father's way of building a relationship with us kids to where, you know, most kids when they're in high school or college, they like to do adolescent things. They like to run around, they like to drink, they like to party and stuff like that. And that's one thing that always helped keep us straight was the fact that we knew that we keep our heads on straight, we put God first, and we do what we need to do. You know, we'll go have a lot of fun. And that's one thing that's not only motivated us, you know, and his children, you know, my brother and my sister as well, but it also helped motivate friends and other family as well. And it was a program that my father did with all the high school kids that we had the ability and of a shop to work on their cars and do things with them. And that's what we always did.
Nice.
Cool. Did your brother race? Did your brother do some racing?
Yes. Yeah, no, he was big into racing. And then it got to the point to where he finally decided to go on the import scene and ended up going the super route. But I mean, he was more of the roll racing on the highway and was extremely successful with that around town. I mean, when Wichita people came into town, or St. Louis, or he'd go run TX2K, and he'd tell me stories about some of these bigwigs that, I don't even know who they are, but to him, it's a big deal. But, totally different spectrums. He's big into the street racing and roll racing. I was big into the track events. Two different cultures, but the older we're getting now, we're all about the same. We like the track stuff because we all have kids growing up. So,
what year was it that you made your first passes down the track?
So it would have been, I turned 16 on a Wednesday, and what's that?
Jeez, Rodney.
You're funny. It was a Wednesday of March in 2002. I know that. And
wow.
Yes, and we went to, well, wait a second, that's not right. It was April, sorry. Wednesday, I went on my birthday. I didn't get my license, but I got my license on Wednesday before high school in April. And me and my father went down to the track for the first time on that Friday night. Nice. And it was a 92 Vet, bone stock, nice car. And I proceeded to make I don't know, 25 passes that night. Robbing it like crazy. Had so much fun. Dad had to tell me to stop. Like, we got to let it cool off,
Put some gas in it. Jeez.
I'm telling you, dude, nonstop. And it was 1440s to 15s, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And then Sunday, I got to enter the race, and I won that race in my bracket. Actually, the first race I entered.
That is awesome.
That was cool.
That is cool, man. I usually don't work out like that.
No, it never does. But and his daughter actually at the last race at Flying H, she entered her first race, and she got all the way to the final. And then ended up finally getting beat. I was like, dang, that'd have been cool.
Right.
Yeah. So,
heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your next car after the Corvette?
I actually drove, my sister had a Fox body as well. I raced that. Looked just like yours, Gary. Red hatch.
Fall apart on jack stands?
Well, not quite like that. When it was running,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it was just your basic 302, some ported. I think I had twisted wedge heads on it, Cobra intake. It ran like 1250s. And I ran that, had fun with that. Vamp was real big back then. That would have been around 2004-ish. And so, my biggest problem was I was never a guy that liked to lift and get on the brakes. I was never a good real bracket racer. I mean, I don't know how it worked out in the Corvette, but in this car, slamming on the brakes and knowing when to get out of it, I was terrible at it. And I'd get to the finals, and then I'd break out, which means I lost my points, and they won, or something stupid would happen. And we did that for 2003, 2004, and then that was a fun car. That's where I learned a lot of driving and stick shifts, and it was a fun car to drive. I mean, you can take that thing anywhere, do anything with it. And it was just, life was fun back then when you're 18. Didn't have a care in the world.
So you was bracket racing a stick shift?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
well, it was floating index. I struggled with it so bad. My brother wanted to kill me because I couldn't get out of the gas so bad. So I decided upon myself, I was going to take truck trailer, load the car up, and go to the track myself. And I did. And I took the car, entered a bracket race, whatever, dialed in, beat the same car 4 times in a row. He kept buying back in. And then on the 5th time, he beat me somehow, or I went red or something. And I was like, you can have it. I'm leaving. I'm not, this is stupid. But I tried bracket racing it. And I'm not a bracket racer. Just not.
Oh, that's great.
So,
but was your dad still racing at that time too then?
No, he so when I had the Corvette in 2002, right after I won the race, the next weekend we all as a family got to go. So he was campaigning the car that year in NMRA Hot Street in 2002, and they went to the first race in March, They didn't know where they were going to stack up. He couldn't drive it because he had an appendectomy done to him, so he was not able to yank on it. It had a Jericho in it, 4-speed, and it was naturally aspirated. They went to the first race, and they actually qualified like number 4 or something, and they were pretty shocked by that because we'd never entered a professional series before.
Yeah.
And they got down there and they bounced us because the ballast wasn't bolted in the car. They had it shoved underneath the seats, and it was all duct tape, the lead shop bags. And so they bounced us for that. So they had gone to Georgia, runnered up there, and then I won my race. And then we went to Columbus, Ohio, stood that thing on the bumper, and Dad was literally, so he wasn't driving, but he was at all these races. He's literally on top of the car beating the strut tires down with a sledgehammer because it jacked some stuff up. But we ended up winning that race. And so he didn't drive anything but local for testing here, but Brian Booz drove the car that year, and we just decided to enter a series and entered a class Dad wanted to run, and we're so glad we did because there's so much more you can learn from not only like a series of racers like that, but like a limited class like that, to where you really have to find and get the most out of the least always. Yeah. And it always makes, I mean, that's where Ron Rhodes came from, is NA racing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you learn.
Oh yeah. Hot Street back then was like mini pro stock, in NMRA. Right. Yeah. That's what it was back there. And there's some killers in that class. Gary, you got a picture of that?
Yeah. So you're talking about the white coupe, right? Okay, so yep. Let me. I don't know if I'll grab the right year, but I'll just grab this.
That was 2003 when we ladder barred it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where did this car come from? Where did your dad get this at?
So the funny story about that car, and that's the same car we have today. That car he bought with a business partner in Florida. And that car went straight from the dealership to see Mark and Joe Monero, the Monero brothers. And if you remember them from back in the day, big time Ford guys. A lot of other things that were questionable, but they were big time into building cars. And that car got a cage, subframes, right from the factory. And literally, and that car has had lots of renditions, every power adder known to man, whether it's NA, blower, turbo, nitrous, don't matter. It's had it, chewed it up, spit it out, read that book twice, and put it back on the shelf. That car has seen some places for sure. Lots of history.
Very cool.
This is Bowling. This is Bowling Green Beach Bend.
Yep, 2002.
Yeah, and just a disclaimer, I put the date on the bottom. This is like the date that you posted on Facebook, not necessarily the date of the picture, but I figured you'd sort it out as we go. And at some point, the date might be right.
So here's a funny story. So if you look at the front bumper where it says TRZ Motorsports, you can kind of see it. Yeah. Where the lance would normally be cut out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and I talk to a lot of our guys around town and share a lot of stories with people. But as you guys both know, racing is a lot of monkey see, monkey do. If it works for one guy, they're like, well, it has to work.
Yeah,
I got to do that.
I got to do it too. So that year, we had set the world record for ET in mile an hour in the category in New Jersey. And we had that taped off. And it was just with gray duct tape. That's all we could find. And we had no wing on the car. Well, the next day, going into eliminations on Sunday, we roll into the lanes. All the cars come up, and all the cars that had wings didn't have wings no more. And all the cars that had open lamps, they were all filled in.
They're stealing your secrets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like
man.
Kenny Compton was one of the Billy Lynn guys, and he came in, and I recognized it for sure in his car. I'm like, where's your wing? I'm 16. I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah. And, monkey see, monkey do. If it works for him, it's got to work for us, right?
Right.
All the wings are in the staging lanes, and the hardware store's out of duct tape.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. 200 mile an hour duct tape.
Yep.
That's Bowling Green.
Bowling Green
Same
also.
Race. Mm-hmm. That's in New Jersey. That was it was great duct tape. That's the great duct tape.
Giant piece of great duct. Oh, right. Oh man.
Yeah, so that was Atco.
Okay.
Who's that behind you?
Oh, so I wasn't driving. That was Brian. That's my brother's friend, Aaron. Aaron Phantasma. He's a good friend of ours. Back then he always ran around with Dad to go pick up the car from Chicago, which, some people don't know this. The original founder of TRZ Motorsports was Tommy Zanchevitz. And he was out of Joliet. And so that's who originally built the car for this class and did it the first couple of renditions, ladder bar in it and so on. But yeah, he was a guy that always ran around with my dad to go get the car and get parts and take it all over the country, if I was in school or whatever.
Sure.
So,
Here's at Bradenton.
Yep. That would have been NMRA Bradenton of 2004. That was when, after, let's see, in 2003, we were really struggling to defend our championship. And we had some unfortunate issues with castings on the heads and some of the things we were doing. So problems that we had, we couldn't figure out. And we got super frustrated with it. My dad was he tried to stay positive about it, but me and my brother were pretty upset. And when we went to Joliet in 2003 and got beat first round, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And the car went straight from Joliet racetrack to Tommy's shop. And he was like, I don't know why you guys spend $40,000-$50,000 on a motor and you have nowhere where you're competitive to race this car. Like, why don't you just put a single turbo small block Ford setup in it? You can run an MRA. You can run small tire events anywhere and make money doing it and not have a lot of money in all this exotic nonsense. Yeah. And that's when we made the conversion. And then we started running that in 2004.
Okay. Wow. I've got a bunch of pictures of this white car. This is at Mocan.
Yeah, that would have been later on. That's when I first started racing the car there and that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, see, this is all when I started taking the car over here locally. And that would have been around 2006 and 7, maybe 7 and 8. We started running like some 1050 stuff with it. And I purchased a motor from my brother, worked out a deal, got a transmission, run that stuff. And then we worked up to like the last picture in this picture would have been the drag radial class that Vamp started having. And had some success with that. That was a lot of fun. That's my brother in the white t-shirt.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
That's Jonathan.
And that's
a KCIR.
Okay. And a carbureted small block ish.
Yep. It was 331 Kuntz motor as well. Had a C4 behind it. And I think it had a Lenny with Ultimate Converter Concepts. He did the converter for it. Nano, as we started using nitrous, we did the whole pusher or whatever they call it system. We were sponsored by them. Pretty influential, and didn't even know it until we stopped running it, that guys like Kendall and a lot of the 8.5 guys, I think Chris Magger was one of them, they all started running it. I think Darcy ran it for some time. Mark ran it. Yeah, a lot of those guys switched to it. It was great because you never have to heat your bottle. Like, you could literally leave the bottle in the car, roll it out of the trailer. It's in the fall. It's 50 degrees or whatever. You're warming it up. You're like, oh, I'm just going to turn on the little purge bottle on. And then your bottle pressure went from 500 to 900 PSI. You're like, yep, see, it's warmed up.
Weren't they out of Lawrence or somewhere in that area, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the guy's name that owned it. My brother and father knew him from street racing back in the day. Real cool dude. He had another company that did carbon wheels for 4-wheelers and all kinds of stuff. He had a lot of different companies. But super cool. It was his dad that was running it. And then I think his name was Brad Garrett was helping do it and market it as well. They just had a lot of pushback on the system with people saying it was a push system when it wasn't, and then they wouldn't let him in a lot of series. So, and I think another company here locally, I think Mo Loans owns it now, but I don't know what they do with it now.
Huh.
Cool.
Yep, that was at Nano's place, taking some pictures with a sticker on the car.
Okay, cool. Looks good. Look how good that white looks with them shiny wheels, Rodney. Woo!
Shiny wheels.
Are you shopping?
No, I want to get the over under on that. 56 minutes.
for the polished wheel comment.
Yeah.
Sorry it took so long.
I lost on that one. I owe people money now on that one. I had it way under.
Sorry it took so long. Jeez.
Usually
that's a good looking car right there.
That was right there, you know, in racing and the evolution of the sport. There are a lot of things that change. This was taken in September of 2002, and this was when stock suspension and stock style suspension was just about to change. So that was true stock suspension. And the reason people would ladder bar their cars at that point was just the center of gravity. I mean, the car had a rake on it. Once that front tire got 1.5 feet in the air, if you miss the clutch tune-up, you're screwed. Like, it's coming up. And when you try to short shift it, you get it right in the torque, and that thing just it literally would go on the parachute. Like, there was nothing you could do. It was an animal. So that's why we ladder barred it after that. But that was, I mean, even the NMRA drag radial guys had stock suspension. And then the next year it was kind of like, oh, you know, you can move the springs in, and, you know, you can do this, and that's still considered stock suspension, you know.
Hey.
Did you ever go to the World 4 Challenges?
You know, that was one race. You know, my brother and my father went to it every year. Even when he was graduating, he drove down there and drove back through the night. Didn't even want to come back for his own graduation. I mean, that's the way in May it always worked out. I love going walking around in the pits, meeting the drivers, videoing it, doing all that stuff. We raced one time, and that would have been in 2004 when we had the turbo setup. Every other time we went up there, we didn't want to run it because we were that serious about saving our stuff for the championship that we didn't want to go run it and have something go wrong. Then we're screwed. But that year in 2004, we beat Jim Briani first round, which was cool. And then second round, we broke the freaking the oil pump gear off the distributor came off when we were running. We were going to get to run Billy Glidden, and we had to get pushed back. So that sucked. But yeah, always went to watch.
Yeah,
always went to watch.
Yep.
Good stuff.
There you are on the left. You look like you're about 12.
I was 16, but I'll tell you what, you know, there's some things in racing you can tell when a photo's dated, and those crew shirts, those were good for that time, but that is definitely dated nowadays.
Sure.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah. And this window says owner Joe Johnston and driver was Brian Booz.
Correct.
And Brian Booz was no stranger to the winner circle.
That dude and his brother, when it come to running, I think it was NSCA with
Charlie, right?
Charlie, yeah.
Yep. Pale Rider, and was Brian's car, his Galaxy. And I'm trying to think what Charlie's car was, but they kicked the dog crap out of those dudes nonstop. And it was a good year for him in that car. After that, he really struggled. You know, the car struggled. It was just a rough year, but you know, one of the hardest things to do is win a championship, but really ultimately the hardest thing to do ever is defend it. That's hard.
Sure.
Good point.
Yeah. Well said.
And so what year is this? Is this like that 2002 area?
September of 2002. Yep. The same.
Okay.
That's when we got a whole spread, and I think it was 5.0 Mustang magazine. So that was pretty cool. That was actually the weekend I was walking in the pits, and I had a magazine, and I saw Brandon Schweitzer back when Brandon Schweitzer was a nobody. Okay,
right.
He drove the Pro Flow 5.0 Mustang, always backfired and blew up. And I saw him in the middle of walking in the pits, and I said, "Will you sign this for me?" He's like, "You want me to sign this?" I'm like, "Yeah." He was tuning Chris Little's drag radial car that weekend.
Right.
And I don't know if I have that magazine anymore, but as big as he is now, I'd love to go, "Hey, do you remember signing this like 20 years ago?"
Right.
Even big.
Yeah.
Now he's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
that purple
great.
LX, and then he brought out that purple New Edge back then.
Yes, then that was what he was running. I think he blew it up before he got that car. Is still running. You know who has that car, right, Rodney?
I do not.
Wild Bill Devine. That's that car.
Oh, okay. That makes
All
sense.
right.
Yeah.
So it's still around, still stick shift, I believe.
Wow.
Man.
Yeah. That's Vamp. That's local. That's KCIR.
Is it okay?
Probably.
You remember his orange car?
That's Jeff Ritchie's old car, but I don't know if he was driving it. I want to say that's who that was, because I don't think that was Frost's car.
Yeah. That's right.
I think it was Ritchie's car. I'm trying to think. That would have been 2009, I believe. Is when we were doing that, and that was a pretty open class. We were allowed to run 295s if you were nitrous, and then boosted combinations had to run 275s. Literally no prep on a radial tire. Like they drug it in the morning, and they might hand spray it, to 60 foot. Like there was nothing there. Webb can attest to that. Kendall, Rich, man, that was some fun racing. Very highly competitive.
Nice.
That was a lot of fun.
And let's see. And what year did you say this was?
2009. I would say.
9-ish. Okay.
Oh, look at that.
What's the date on this?
So that would have been exactly when it was posted. September 1st, 2014. That is, what's that?
So what's happened between then and this picture? What's happened between here and here? Because there's a big gap.
So one of my dad's big deals was like, if you had a major life event going on, he didn't want you behind the wheel of a race car, period, because he's seen it happen with Brian, and he couldn't concentrate when he was having his first kid. So from 2009 going into 2010 was when I was getting married. So we didn't do any racing in 2010. He didn't want to, and we just took a break for a year. That's when my brother at that time was still going to the track, helping Kendall a lot. And then, so he was staying engaged enough to know what was going on and how fast the class was evolving. We had opportunity during this time to actually race somebody else's car. Funny story was, so, you had a lot of cars that ran 560s, 580s. There was one guy that busted off like 517, Jeremy Jensen, the turbo car.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you get guys like Kendall that would play staging games with him, and that would get him all fired up, which, I mean, you'd see if Jeremy, he walked in the pits when, he was all working out, and he'd be all buffed up, red. And I'm like, what's your problem? He's like, I got to find Kendall. And I'm like, what for? He's like, he just welded my converter to the flex plate, and I'm going to knock him 6 feet into the ground. All right. Fair enough. He just let him go. Well, so we had some issues, and we knew that Todd Mashmeyer had built a car and got interested in the class, and we asked him if he would be able to help us. Like, we were in the championship points. It was us, Jensen, and Webb, top 3. And this was the second to last race, and we're like, hey, man, is there any way, like, can we drive your car? Like, we're really needing points. We know you guys didn't show up till the middle of the season, whatever. He's like, well, let me talk to Travis, who was driving the car, Travis Gilpin. He's like, I'll let you know. And we had already left. We were really upset. It really sucked because we were so close, and the class had just gotten so competitive. And we come back. He says, "Yeah, it's fine." Come back, and we do some things with their car that we did on our car. We put some fresh tires on it. We set the suspension up different. Obviously the way I drive, even from doing burnouts, as you guys have made comments about, is totally different than most people. And there's certain routines and things, methods to madness that work for us, may not work for everybody else. But literally, we took that car over. Todd was still tuning it. We made some adjustments to it. First pass, driving the car, went like a 532. And that
you're talking about Todd's Camaro, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So anyways, everyone's like, wait a second, what's going on here? Like, so now my dad's behind the car, and everyone's like, I thought Travis was driving. Like, what's going on? Like, this is weird. And, we weasel and work our way through the ladder. Actually had Larson, who was helping them work on the car, because Todd and Larson are good friends. And Larson comes over and goes, "Look, kid, you need to quit pedaling this big block car." He goes, "You're gonna blow it up, and you need to stay in it." I said, "Larry," I said, "with all due respect," I said, "I'm gonna tell you something right now. If I stay in it, this thing's gonna keep coming up. It's not gonna come down." He goes, "You don't need to worry about it." Oh, okay. So I go up there the next pass, and it wheelies, and we're out there about 80 feet. It's about to cross center line. I pedal it. I think I was running Danny Tillman, and bring it back down and win the round. And I walk up to him. I'm like, "Where were you on that one, buddy? What's going on?" He goes, "No, you do your thing." And we get all the way to the final, and we tell Todd to take some power out of it because the track's not there. He goes, "It's my car. I'm going to run it how I want to." And goes up there, lights the tires up, trying to shoot for the moon. And then I try to pedal it and broke the cam. Like, boom! I mean, big backfire. And but after helping them with a couple things and doing this and doing that, like the gel of two teams, I mean, it got us all the way to the final. Right. We ended up having other parts failure on the white car at the next race, and Jensen won the championship. But the unique part of that is going into 2010 when we stopped. Todd and Travis and that whole team were a juggernaut. Like, they were unbeatable practically. Even with Horde when he was running, I mean, they were fast for local around here, so, but that's where that all started.
Tim Webb says definitely most fun years of racing was Vamp.
100%. No doubt. Tim was one of the best and funnest competitors. And it was, I mean, he knows, man, it get heated a lot of times. There's lots of stories. But we took off 2010. And then in the end of 2010, that's when Dad bought Chris Rose's car. And then that was supposed to be his car to drive around on the street, pedaling and have fun with. And that's what he wanted. And then he was like, "You know what? We can let Jared drive it. We'll just go back and run Vamp with it. We'll have fun and we'll do that." So that's when we started back up in 2011 and 12 running the green car. And then 13, we ended up taking off that car right there. Yep. That's a Topeka. That was the first time we tested that car.
Yep. Is this date right? June of 12?
It was sometime around there. It's possible. We might have been testing for a race they were going to have there that they didn't end up having. By far, one of the funnest cars I've ever drove. Love driving that thing.
I've seen this car get built. Like we talked, before the show, I saw this car be built like literally in front of my eyes. Being good friends with Chris when I lived in Salina before I moved here to Wichita, and he built a really cool car.
100%. Go ahead.
So this is the 2012 range, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to back up to November 2011. KCIR closes. We asked this of all the Kansas City guys that we talked to. How did that change your racing career, racing life when that track closed?
I've heard you tell that.
Yes.
It changed our life racing career as a family because we race as a family for the better. And what I mean by that is we ran that car at KCIR, won the last race that they had. It was actually against Webb in the final. And that was a bittersweet moment. We traveled the next year, and then we sat there and we were like, well, what are we going to do now? The track's closed. I mean, Mocan, it wasn't much different, but it was a little bit different. The small tire scene around here, it's just now getting to where it's popping. And I mean, it's popping big time right now. It wasn't that popular back then. I mean, you had Hot Summer Nights, which we ran. We had to qualify for like 8 spots back then. That was a cool race. We had to run Justin Wren first round. I think that's who it was. Is that right? The LDR car? Is that who it is?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I know the name, but I don't know what car he has. I'm familiar with the name though.
Yeah, I ran him. So it pushed us to go faster because, for the longest time while we were transitioning with this green car, Radial racing was just popping off. And one thing that we couldn't understand was how those guys were going as fast as they were. And so in 2014, we decided we were going to go to Memphis for Tyler Crossnose race, streetcar reunion. And me and my brother had both talked about and agreed we wanted Calivas to tune our stuff because of his pedigree in NMRA and how that guy was, I can't have a forward-facing turbo 88 anymore. Oh, okay, well, that's fine. I'll put an 85 on it and I'll go just as fast. Like a guy that really knows the rules and make people mad because he'll find ways to always be there. Mm-hmm. And made a deal with him. Dad literally was on a business trip for like a month in China, comes back, and he's like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, we're putting radials on the car, which we had never run before on that car. And then we're going to put radials on the car, and we're going to Memphis. For what? A race. And when we went he thought we were crazy. He was pissed off the entire time. We get there, get in the back of the lanes in Memphis. And if you've ever been to Memphis, they're a mile long and there's 10 of them.
Yep.
Right. And he goes, great. Yep. What class are we in? Like, what lane do we need to be in? We're like, pick one. He goes, well, that doesn't help me. Like, how many classes are up here? We go, this is just X275. Pick a lane. This is the class. And he's like, oh, I'm in. This is awesome. I'm in. All these cars are going to qualify for 32 spots. I'm in. Yeah. I'm in. And that was awesome. That was it.
Yeah. Before we get to 2014 with this car, what wasn't this like a 360-inch ish combo?
Like a 2 deck to me.
It was a 365.
What was this engine? Okay.
What's that? And we had we were trying to put a panhandle motor in it because at the time Terry Elam was running really good. So panhandle was the flavor of the month. And so we hit them up. Of course, I think his name is Gary Biddle. He didn't want to do just a this or that. He's like, either buy a motor from me or I'm not tuning it and messing with it. Okay. So we ended up having what's that?
Mark Biddle.
Mark Biddle. Yeah.
That's it. So we ended up having like Proline do the heads. I think, or maybe they chose the cam and Panhandle did the heads, something like that. And then we had Petty come in and tune it, and we put it on Vamp's dyno. And Petty goes, man, this thing makes some pretty good power. Like, who built this motor? We're like, local shop here in town, Burlington Performance. And he's like, pretty stout little piece. He's like, so what's inside of it? And we're like, it's some cheap stuff. It's Eagle rotating assembly. And he's
right.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. So then he's like, I'm standing behind the car for this pull.
Yeah.
I think I made like 1270 on like 19 pounds or something like that.
Nice. What heads?
What's that?
What heads were on there?
I think it was the 7721s, just Hectors. Nothing crazy.
Right.
Yeah, that's funny.
Just an inline head, nothing crazy.
My 8.2 deck had that with the Riker intake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, our biggest problem was what we had problems with was burning up injector drivers because we were trying to charge the car, and then while we were tuning on the car and we couldn't figure out why it wouldn't run. We fought that for like 2 or 3 races.
Was it big stuff?
A big stuff problem?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Steve Petty's like, take the wire off and see if you can move the mess. He's like, yep, injector driver's bad. You're gonna have to go ahead and ship that back. Okay.
Oh man.
It was all right. I mean, we've done a lot of races with that car.
Sure.
And man, yeah, it was a good running car. Lots of fun. Just a glide, simple setup.
Tony Whitmore says you raced that car at Wichita International Raceway Vamp race years ago.
Oh boy.
And with KCR shutting down in 2012, this is the Vamp Flyer. Vamp comes to Kansas International Dragway, right?
Yep.
Okay. There's you in the right, Tim Webb in the middle, and Ryan Livengood's Capri on the left side there. Yep.
I think old Tony tried. I think he was trying to burn me down. I was pretty hot about that.
Tony, are you there?
Tony
wouldn't do that.
Oh my goodness.
That, and then because we had to run him. We had to run Live and Good. We had to run. There's a video of it. I'm trying to think of who else we ran. We had to buy, and I think Mashmeyer. So, oh yeah.
You had an issue. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
What happened here? Tell us.
So the first pass at Wichita, I shift the car, and right before I lift, I hear a boom. I didn't know what happened. So I look down and I'm looking at myself. First instinct, like I'm good. I don't feel nothing. I didn't get hit by nothing. Like what's happening? And I look over and see the pipe. Like I'm like, well, shoot! It blew the intercooler pipe off. So I'm trying to remember who's the guy in Wichita that had what did he have? Like a blue station wagon or something that was really fast, had a turbo setup in it or something. Keith Lopez. That's
Baby
it.
Blue. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. He's the one that's like, oh, well, we could take it to my shop and fix it. And he's like, well, heck, he goes, if you grab one and I grab the other, he goes, I bet we could straighten this thing right out. And we did right there on the ground. And put it right back in the car, and it never blew off again. That was funny. That was at Wichita for sure.
Wow.
Tony has a comment. Tony says, always burning down someone, allegedly. Guess that's the MO. Just trying to get my street car to temperature.
Nice.
Allegedly. That's funny, Tony.
I like
Good stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. This is from 2012. Is this Ozark? Where's this at?
Yep. So that's when they had their first like brawl in the woods or whatever it was called. And we went down there and ran. I think it was just me and my brother. And it went me and my brother were on a mission to really try to figure out that car. Dad was busy working. We were struggling because we had the injector driver issues. And me and him were just, you got the Bruder brothers. It's the Johnston brothers. Like it's the same thing. He tunes, I drive. And we were trying to figure out ourselves and this car and this trim and go have some fun with it and see what we could do. And we got it to go in the teens. But we were trying to get the thing in the 4s, and it just takes time to learn.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was a fun race. A lot of fun there.
I labeled this picture personal best. So this is October 20th of 2012. You got your personal best of the 509.
Mm-hmm.
Getting close to the 4s.
I'm going to say that was Mocan.
Is that Mocan?
I think that's Mocan. Left lane had to have been. Which the left lane back then was the best lane because the right lane had the dip in it. And everybody tested in the left lane the night before. So Yeah, I would say that was probably 509 142. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're getting there.
This was dated November. Turbo in the middle. You got something going on here. Whatever it is, you said boom.
Yeah, boom. Like we finally made the change. We put the turbo up front, which if you've ever been a fan of turbo cars, it's kind of like having a blower car with zoomies, right? If you have a turbo car, you want to see it up front and center. I mean, it was just, that was something cool. And we wanted to try it. And that's when we were getting more curious about the faster stuff, but we didn't really know what future held for us then, what we were going to do. And honestly, if I remember right, I think the car sat most of that year. We didn't do nothing with it until we went radial racing with it. Only problem was that turbo, and God bless Sears and his tough decision making. I mean, you can't make everybody happy, but that poor thing that we had on there had such a bad MO and rep from everybody in the class that we had to weigh 3,400 pounds. But we got to put, and that was the large frame surge slot hole ones that were junk. Yeah, they were junk. And then we got to put on the mid frame Gen 1 85. It makes more power, and we get to take 200 pounds out of the car. Like, let's go.
Yeah. So, the large frame, you got to start spooling after the burnout to get the beans right.
Oh, dude. And yeah, even doing a burnout was totally different. Like, not even the same car.
Yeah.
Not even close. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been at Mocan.
The Mocan?
Mocan in 2012. So that would have been the World Finals for it wasn't I guess it wouldn't have been the World Finals for us. Let me think about this. That's was that 2012? When did KCR shut down? Was it 11 or 12?
November 11.
Okay. So
this is a year later.
Maybe whenever we had to run the Mako cars, it was Vant cars against Mako cars. And that was that weekend, and that was a ton of fun. I'm gonna say this was actually 2011 because we looked to still be on like a 275 there, and it wasn't until I think the next year when we tried a 29, and I don't think we were split up. I can't remember. But yeah, no, that was fun. It was doing power wheelies like crazy, trying to figure out how hard you could leave with it. We were always so scared to blow the tires off if we knew then what we know now.
Right. Here's another engine picture with that turbo in the center.
Yep, there's that large frame turbo.
Okay, talk about this. I need to use the bathroom. Talk about that.
Yeah. Did you ever run one of those turbos, Rodney?
Oh yeah, that same deal. When I got my car, I had a Biddle motor, 7709 heads with the Riker with this 88 on there. Same deal, exact same deal with the 180 first gear. And just like I was talking about it, and I saw your 60 foot there. That's about the norm back then for that little deal, And there's definitely but it's funny too because back then, it was a little bit leading edge, and it's a little bit on the technology, and it's all they had, So what are you gonna do, So
well, it always takes about a year or so to get up to speed in a class, and like we bought that turbo just so we could go run the class from the old school 101 that was on the car when Chris had it, and the more you know. I'll just say that.
Exactly. Tiffany, what you doing?
I got this for him, and he hasn't even used it yet.
I know. What's the deal?
I know. Do you know what this is?
I know what it is.
Yes, we don't have to get up.
Yeah.
Drivers use that.
Yeah. I mean, she's always thinking for him, She's always thinking for him. Come on. That's why she's the boss lady.
Well, he's not the only one that has one.
Oh, I know. I got one too. She bought one for me too.
Gave it to them in a restaurant. See?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
official.
Oh
You'll
my
see me
God.
run
TMI. TMI.
off.
No, it's live feed.
You can't take potty breaks on a live feed?
It's an
Yeah.
open book. No, well,
Yeah, I mean, you know,
it's an
like,
open book to everybody. So, okay, I gotta go.
all right.
Wait.
Troy Abe said he made it longer than normal. That's funny. That's funny. But
At least he didn't go pee outside.
it's probably still light out, I'm assuming. Yeah.
No, I think it's dark.
Is it?
Yeah, but at
Yeah.
least he didn't go pee outside on my grass. So
You like how she said that? She said her grass.
Her grass. That's right. She's one of those, Cameron.
apparently, you don't know me that well.
Well, I guess not. And he just be out there marking his territory. Like, I don't know.
It is my grass.
Ooh.
It is my grass.
I heard that.
It is mine. I mow. I can't mow yet, but
Yeah,
I still got like 2 weeks left to go.
that's right. Here, testify, Tim Webb. She cuts it. Yeah.
Yeah,
She cuts hair
Got
and
me.
she cuts grass.
got my stripes just right. My lines. Even got a
is it
stripe.
up to Cameron's? If it's up to Cameron's spec or not?
It is. Yeah.
Oh
Cameron,
no, is he
Cameron-
on there?
He is.
Is he on there?
He's on. He was on earlier. He
Cameron.
popped in.
Yeah,
He's
he
one
have
of
to ask
those
Cameron
all the little,
Code.
you know.
Okay, I got busted.
Busted.
Okay, whose yard is outside?
Cameron's.
No, whose yard is outside?
It's my yard.
Do you want to mow the rest of the summer?
I don't have to. No.
She's saying it's her yard.
Okay, it's her yard.
Oh, man.
It's her yard.
Yeah, Matt Ray says she even has the striper kit behind it. Or is that the
Yeah,
stripper
that's-
kit?
That's stripper kit. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have not used the stripper kit at all in 4 mow sessions.
Man, you're fired.
I ain't got time for that. It's too hot out.
He's
Yeah.
only got a couple of complaints since he's been mowing.
Oh yeah, has it been weed eating as well?
No,
No,
I don't weed eat. It's not my contract.
he doesn't weed eat. He doesn't blow them. He doesn't do nothing. Now where's he going?
Ah,
Now where'd he go?
maybe he's got to go potty. Maybe he needs a potty
He
break.
needs one of these.
Show us how you use that, Rodney.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
Jared went to get another beer.
he went to go get himself a can.
Red
Can.
Bull. Red Bull.
Oh, Red Bull. Oh man,
He doesn't
Red
need-
Bull.
He doesn't need a thing to pee in. He's got himself a can.
holy
That's
crap!
right.
There's 5 comments since I've been gone. What are you guys
They're all
doing?
talking about
here?
you. They're all talking about you leaving.
Man, I think I need to do a podcast sitting on a toilet
No,
right here.
no, no. Because I called it my yard, and he was like, he called it her yard. I'm like, it is my yard.
Hey, I made it to like an hour and 23 minutes, Troy. So I did make it longer than normal.
I've already pulled them all up, Jerry.
Oh man. Well, I'm
So-
back.
So Jared, what kind of wastegate did you run on this right here?
Shoot, I don't even remember. If I had to guess, I want to say it was like a precision. I don't even remember,
I
honestly.
was curious if you ran like a single or 2 duels.
We need to just run a single. I don't even think
Yeah.
we had 2 on it. A lot of this changed. We had it set up like this, and when we were in the middle of trying to figure out, like I said, the car sat, I think, for the good part of a year. And then
Yeah.
before we went to that Radial race, and we essentially went down to Memphis, and that was when Shane Fisher and Charles Hull were running an X with Clevis and under the whole banner. And we took that car and we took the white car just as a rolling chassis, and we sat down with Clevis and pressurized, and we're like, which car do you want to build? Like, we like the white car, but whatever you want to do, what do you think better? And they're like, honestly, I'd probably sell this one, and I want to build the white one. And then that's
where it started. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
This picture's funny. What are these giant slicks doing on here? What's going on here?
That was, I don't remember. I think we were trying to get it to fit the 29s and try to see how that was all going to work and whatnot. And because Vamp had made them legal. So we were like, well, let's try to run them. As much as I've watched a lot of the racing from like World Ford, where they had Fun Ford Street Outlaw versus with NMRA Super Street Outlaw, most of the cars were so optimized for what they had. Unless you're a pro stock team that's changing transmissions and converter stators and gear selections, like there's not a whole lot going to change. And I mean, we didn't really see a lot either. You know, and we hacked on the car to get them to fit. And I think that was right after that. And I washed it all up, but you can kind of see where we got a little greedy with the Sawzall there in front of the tire on the fender.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, we were just trying it, and those were I think those were 12-inch wheels. I can't even remember as to why we had those slicks on those wheels. I hate those wheels. You know how to double the value of a drag light, right?
No.
You beadlock them.
Double the value of a drag light. Okay.
Yeah, you can triple the value if you double.
Yeah, I was going to say triple it.
All right. Good info.
I can't stand those wheels, but you know they serve their purpose, right?
That's part of the old standard Fox body recipe was a drag light.
Oh yeah, drag lights and
flow masters and drag lights. Yes,
we like Combo Pros. So.
Okay, yeah,
the Combo Pros, right? About right.
Yeah.
Outlaw Streetcar Reunion. This is April 2014. Accurate?
Yep. Yeah, that would have been for that race for sure. Yep, everybody freezing cold in Memphis.
Man, car looks good.
That's that car had always cleaned up nice, man. That car was love that car. Yeah, right there by the checkered trash can. That's Cletus. Mm-hmm. And then Dad's right there in the hoodie with the Proline hoodie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably one of the first passes we made, you know, and we worked with Clevis and we knew he was launching this new company, KBX Performance, and we wanted to be a part of it. And knew he was done driving. And, you know, we're like, hey man, if you get it in the 490s, we'd love to do this with you. 480s, 470s. And I think the record at the time was like I think they said at that race, Fisher did with like a 50 flat. So that was the next race.
Okay, yep. Is this like Holly Springs or something like that?
Yeah, so after that last picture was in Memphis, this was the next race. So we changed the turbo around, got to take some weight out. We put a more aggressive gear in. I think we had 373s in it or 410s. I can't remember. And we went down there and we were actually backed up way back in the lanes. And Dad's like, hey man, Fisher's up front. World record holder, like he ain't got no one beside him. You want to run him? I'm like, absolutely. I'd love nothing more than to line up against the best.
Right.
And so we got up there, and that's when he went to 49, and we went in 81 personal best at that time. And I had him sign the time slip. Still have the time slip to this day.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty cool pass.
Yeah, and this year's the date is April 6, 2014. First X275 round win, 485 at 148.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Who's the white car in the other lane? Is that Rodney over there?
Yeah. No, I can't. It's my wife's one of her friends. I'm not sure. He's from the Tennessee, Kentucky area. I can't remember what his name was.
That's where the car came from.
Your car?
Oh,
mm-hmm. I bought it.
Maybe it is your car, dude.
Yeah.
How weird would that be?
That would be something. That would be ironic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I bought it in 2016 in November.
I don't know. Nikki might have to check in on that. That would be actually pretty cool. I think back then that car used to be a nitrous car, I think. Something like that. It wasn't a turbo car back then. But that would be funny if that was the same car.
Would be a small world, right?
It would be.
100%. I think a lot of the times, man, if cars could talk and tell you their history, it would be cool to hear. I mean, just last week, like you guys had a picture of Brian Carpenter, and we were, contemplating on going to the race last weekend at Flying H, and I saw that Ernie was there and Preston Brothers were there, and I was like, that's cool. I want to go see, how fast I go and talk to him. And then I walked by this new Edge, and I had just seen pictures of that car last week. Didn't even know he had that car. And I've followed Brian from when we ran World Ford back in 03 with his first car that Bailey wrecked.
Right.
And we walked by the back of the car, and I'm with my wife, and I'm like, is that Carpenter's car? And she's like, yeah, it says Brian Carpenter on the window. I'm like, absolutely. Heck yeah, dude. This is awesome. So we stopped the stuff with him and talked to him. And, I'm like, you're probably going to think I'm crazy. Aren't you like a chiropractor or something? And he goes, yeah. How do you know that? I'm like, man, I'm such a geek from watching, Jamie Meyer and all these guys announce at World Ford and NMRA. I studied the sheets, run sheets. I know exactly where these people live. Yeah. I know exactly where they're from, and their occupations usually. Yeah. And some of the
Skinny
cars,
kid, race cars.
Yes. Yep. Skinny Kid, which I just found out that Mo bought that whole operation. Doing it.
Panday Tobeski. Yep.
Tobeski. Yep. Which old time Pro 50 racer as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That's where that motor plate came from right there.
No kidding.
From Panday. Yep. Or Skinny Kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, that was a cool shot. I love that picture.
Yeah. This is spring 2014. It says this Holly Springs Motorsport Spring 2014 shootout. April of 2014 to be specific, and man, that car looks clean and shiny. Didn't Ryan Livengood paint this? I'm sure he did. Chris's buddy Ryan Livengood.
I don't know. I mean,
I'll say it is because yeah. I'm pretty sure Ryan Livengood painted this, but he raced the gray Capri back in the Vamp Radial stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he painted this.
Whatever happened to his car?
He still has it. I talked to Chris a lot, and Chris said once in a while Ryan will poke Chris about doing some work to the car to get it kind of back out, but the level that it needs to be at now to run and be competitive is way different than it was back when he stopped racing. So do you want to make that commitment? A person has to decide if he wants to make that financial and time commitment to make it a competitive car again. Yeah. But he still has it. Yeah.
Still twin turbo?
I think so. I don't think nothing's changed.
Yeah, because he had like twin 62s or something on it.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And a few changes on that car, and it could run this limited stuff.
That car was fast back then. I remember when Jensen drove it here at KCIR because it was so loud and violent, man. It had wheelie bars on it. It was a blower car. And he drove it because I guess he was scared of it at the time or something. I don't know. Jensen may have just been saying that, but that was a nasty hot rod, man.
Yeah.
Serious piece.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a unique car with the Capri back glass and stuff. Definitely different. Yeah.
Right.
The last picture of your green car we have is when it's in the trailer. It looks like it's getting ready to go to a different home.
Yep. That was when we had sold it, and we sold it to Jackie McCarty and Henry Lee and that whole outfit. We call him Jackie McCoppy because, he bought that car, and then he was getting a car built at Pressurized in KBX to be under that banner. Also, he could take the motor home, take it apart, and then build it, try to redesign and rebuild the whole combination and sell it his own. But good dude. Other than that, the normal motorsports, rob and steal from everybody like everybody does all the time. But that was, we had to make a decision. We were building a white car. There was a lot of things going on. My niece had been diagnosed with leukemia, so we were dealing with that. And that was a tough time for our entire family. And then, I think the white car was actually in the shop. We had just painted it in the shop when they came to pick that car up. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's still around.
Okay. And is this date accurate? August 5th, 2014?
Probably.
Probably.
I would say,
okay. I have this of the white coupe, September 1st, oh, wrong way. This goes to September 1st. So August, the next month later, September 1st. Is this a fresh paint job on this car then?
Yeah. So that is when me and Dad got to go down to pressurize. That was their first car, top to bottom, front to back. They rebuilt the entire car. They literally cut the floor pans out, dropped the whole cage out of the car. And then one of the straightest chassis they've ever built a cage for that they didn't have to manipulate or change a bar, nothing. And that goes back to when the car was straight from the dealership. It went straight to a chassis shop and had a cage and subframes put on it. But they literally built the car top to bottom, front to back. And this was the first pass getting ready to make on the car under the tower at Holly when they had a tower. And we were testing there. I remember seeing that car, and to see it when it was on the dyno at the shop was just like, oh my gosh, the work that those guys did, and the greatest brothers you could ever find. Everybody's got their guys in the racing community, chassis shops, and people they'll vouch for, and that's great. Our guys are Pressurized Solutions. That's Derek Fannin and Drew Sims. Those guys are like family to us, and they do some of the greatest work and stand by their work, and the greatest dudes I've ever run across. Good people. And they're out of Haleyville, Alabama is where they're from.
Cool.
So
our local guy, Jesse James, he says, one of my favorite cars over the years. Glad you are back out.
Thanks, man. Yep. There's a lot of friends and friendships and things that you make along the way. That's very, very cool and near and dear to my heart, especially just because I'm still a fan. Like I said, when I saw Brian Carpenter's car, I wanted to shoot the bull with him just because I'm that big of a fan. And even here's a funny story for you. So back at the last race at KCIR, we're running the green car, and we rolled. There used to be a tower that went from the pit side to the spectator side. And I roll up there, and I'm next to the tower, and I'm sitting there, and I'm strapped in, and I always like to be strapped in longer than most people do. And I'm sitting there, got the window net up, and I see this red thing pull up beside me. And I look over, and it's Dan Seitz. And I'm like, that's awesome. So there's things going through my mind at this point. Like, that's Dan Seitz.
Yeah.
That's Pro 50 legend Dan Seitz from the pro back in the day. Fun Ford NMRA. Like, that's cool. I get to run him. Well, I'm going to show him that I'm a young buck and I'm up and coming, and I may not be able to outrun him, but because I know that car had run X275 at that point and been in the fours. But I said, I'm going to.
Was he in his red? Was he in his red coupe?
Yes. Well,
okay.
Yeah. So I told myself I'm a bolt this dude. That was my first and I think only perfect light I've ever cut.
Oh.
So I did it next to him. Well, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to bulb this guy and I'm going to do what I can to see if I can beat him, blah, blah, blah. I'm also thinking about the car. Well, that's Dan Seitz's car now, but whose car did it used to be? There's the Sorby brothers, like from NMRA SSO, way back in the day. So that car has a lot of history and lineage as well that I respect, and it just means a lot to me to get to race people like that. And the admiration that I have for the cars, especially the drivers, like, it means a lot to me, man. That's some passion right there that I can't describe to anybody else, but it means a lot to me when you get to see them, meet them, talk with them, race them. It's awesome.
Well said. Golly.
Oh, man. Yeah. This goes to a little bit later in September of 14.
Yeah, that would have been like the second or third time we went down there to test. We were getting ready for No Mercy.
Man, it looks good. It looks good, doesn't it, Rod? White car. Woo, man.
Good.
Woo.
Dude, Yeah, they look great, but photographers hate them because they look like so bland. Like you'll never get a photographer to go, that car looks good. They hate that. It's so basic. That's why when it was wrapped, you saw the car everywhere because they love taking pictures of that car because it took pictures so well, no matter where you were. And it looks so good. That's why it was plastered everywhere. It's not a basic color. And that helps. And we're gonna wrap it again. We're slowly getting back into it.
Cool. We'll get there. We'll get there. If you have something to put out, we'll get there to that.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh yeah. This is also September. That's what the date is anyway. September of 14. Looks like Kaliva's there.
Yep. Yeah, that was. I don't know if that was the first pass or what. The first pass, it got a little saucy at the gear change, and I had to abort mission. But yeah, no, I mean we did pretty good. I think we qualified in top half of the field, and then
Is it Georgia?
Yeah, that's at Georgia SGMP.
Is that your first time going to Georgia? Was 14?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Wow.
Yeah, we went. That was the first time, and I mean it's. I don't care what anybody says. It sucks being there a week, but I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're a radial racer, if you're into it, you got to go to that race. If you haven't been, you have to go. Even if you just go as a fan, you got to go. I mean, yes, it is a week long of racing. You have to be prepared and go with the right mindset that you're only going to get 1 or 2 hits for the most part of the week. And then, come eliminations, you better be ready to get with it and be ready when you're needed. But it is, and it's not as big as it used to be. Back then was when it's in its heyday for real. Yeah. That place was so stupid. Like that following lights out that it took you 2 hours to get in the track. I mean, the fire marshal had to turn people away. They were literally parking on the highway, running across, jumping the fence and through the field and all the mush and all the muck just to
wow.
Oh, it was a zoo.
Wow.
It was a mess. But yeah, I think that race we lost third round to Todd Moyer. We were fighting some oiling issues with the turbos and had an unfortunate issue there with the intercooler, but that slowed it down. But it is what it is. It's racing. So
yeah. The best part of that picture is the third brake light working.
Oh yeah, look at that.
We have the factory liner in the car, Rodney, and the dome light used to work.
Oh, that's awesome. Good catch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's September 26th. This is also September 26th. Yep. 2014. Okay, the next picture I have, this is from Denton, 2014. You're a winner.
You know that caption you shared of Brian Carpenter and said, "This is our house."
Yeah.
That was our house.
Okay.
that was our house. Gene, Nicodemus, and gosh, man, I'm having a brain fart on the other guys that were. I think it was Rob and one of the other track guys. I mean, they were great people. October, so. That race we went to was that was tough. We'd never been there. We had just done the No Mercy deal. We went to Holly, had a wiring issue we were chasing. And we went to Denton and we called them. It was funny. We called them to see how late they were going to test. At Denton, there was no curfew. Like they would run until nobody wanted to make passes. And we were just on the other side of Oklahoma City, and I called Gene, and I was like, how late are you guys running? We're going to show up. And I think it was Wednesday or Thursday night. And he goes, well, we'll probably run till 1 or 2 in the morning. We're like, cool, we're going to get there about 1 in the morning. We'd like to make a hit. And he's like, absolutely. It's, $200 or $300, whatever. You can make a hit. So we show up, unload the car, and I tell Dad, go up and check the starting line out. And see what you think. I'll get the car turned around and ready as much as I can. When you get back, I'll go cruise on the big end with the golf cart, get an idea of what the big end looks like in case something happens. And then, we got all this printed out in our brains. So anyways, he comes back and he asked him if the track could hold a 450. And, you know, keep in mind, like the fifth pass on this car, it went 107 in testing.
Hey.
So we knew this thing was going to fly. And we were just fighting new car blues. Like that's all it was. And we were trying to get it all ironed out. And so he asked Gene, you know, this track hold a 50. These guys have been testing all day. I think Chad Smallwood was there. Justin Curry was there. Moyer was there. A lot of their heavy hitters were there testing. Odie, I think, was there. Kenny Hubbard was there. They were all running 60s and couldn't get out of the 60s to save their life. And he goes, I mean, this track will take whatever you'll throw at it, but you ain't going no 50 nothing. And the air was horrible. So we unloaded, we called Clevis, we, you know, put the AMS on the knob, whatever, on 1 or 2 or whatever tune-up it was. You know, check everything out, warm it up, run the valves, go up there, ice the intercooler, and right off the trailer goes a 459 at 162 or something like that. And immediately they were pissed. And so, you know, so we went wire to wire. We ended up number 1 qualifying, won that race. The crazy thing about it was, you know, I don't know if, you know, don't play another man's game in another man's town. Like that rang true there. That night was rough when we left. We were chased by a racer out of that place. And I mean, he pulled a gun on you. I mean, it was getting pretty good. The crazy thing about it was before that, he was in the trailer congratulating us on winning. And then the next thing you know, he's chasing us in his C7 Vet, drove it off in a ditch, came back in, blocked us in, wouldn't let us leave. I had to call 911. Like, it was a bad deal.
Dang.
It was rough. And I think the thing that made it the roughest is that Curry was getting tuned up to run us and blew it up. And, you know, they came to us and they said, we're done. Gene came to us and said, hey, we want to give him some time to fix a car. What do you guys say? And we're like, well, we got to give him time. Absolutely. We don't want to win a race that way. Like, let's absolutely, you know, how much time you need? An hour and a half, 2 hours? Yeah, we need like an hour. Okay, cool. So we wait an hour and nothing happens. So there's some friends of ours that were down in there. They're like, well, I'll go check out their pits and we'll see what's going on. Go down. There's 50 people around the car. They're trying to get this done, that done. And anyways, it was like nothing. They weren't done yet. So we ended up waiting in the pits for like 2 hours. And then we're finally like, all right, enough's enough, dude. Like, let's get this race over with. So we push back and we pull to the back of the lanes. And at that point, one of their guys that had too much to drink, this is the same guy that tried running us off the road. He goes, well, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to start running my mouth and we're either going to fight or something's going to happen. So he comes up and starts running his mouth and there's like 10 of us and just him. He turns around and looks, he ain't with nobody. And he goes, yeah, all right, I'm going to leave. We wait there another 45 minutes. Nothing happens. We pull up to the back of the lanes up towards the water box. And then that's when it got real crazy because then Taylor Laster got involved and just some things were said. And it got wild, you know, and we were giving them time. And the thing that sucked about it, you know, Justin's a great dude. We're great friends. We talked after this. I got no bad blood there. But that night, man, I'll tell you what, it was one of them stories that I won't even tell you everything. But it was heated. I mean, it was heated. And they got the motor in the car and fired up. And somebody left a rag in the intake and it bent all the valves. Honestly.
No.
You know, that
man.
sucked. But I mean,
Wow.
that weekend, that car was on a rail that weekend. First X win was at that track. We ended up over the next year going 5 for 6 in wins, and we were 6 for 6 in finals. So,
Man.
A lot of good history.
Oh, that track was awesome. Gene was the man. That track was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
This goes to November. This looks like Tulsa.
Yep.
Is this November late? You know, it's late in the year, November 14.
Yeah.
The Dingman photos. Okay.
Dad was actually driving in this.
Okay.
Picture.
Cool.
Where was you at?
Well, he wanted to go to the Radial Revenge at Tulsa, which we did too. Yeah. Only problem is that we had kids and it was Halloween weekend.
Oh.
So we're like, we'll be down there tomorrow, but not today. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, he just took it upon himself. He's going to go make passes in the car. But the problem is, like these cars have a mind of their own. I don't care what people say about their cars. I'm going to tell you something. That car has a mind of its own. There isn't a car that I've drove that when he gets in, something ain't wrong with it or it just don't cooperate for him. And that car especially, you can't put another girl in the seat of that car without that car throwing a fit. You can't let just anybody drive that car without it throwing a fit. Literally something. They tested that car once, Clevis and Dad, for a week straight to try to get that thing to go sub 106 60 foots because we were trying to get it in the 30s. That thing broke something every single pass. Just random stuff. They got a flat tire in the pits at Holly coming back just in the pits. Just random stupid stuff kept breaking. I mean, and on this pass, he let go of the button. I think it made it like 100, 200 foot, and it started breaking up because we had a grounding issue somewhere in the car that we were fighting that would just rear its ugly head. And after this race is when we completely stripped the car down and had Eric LaFerrier wire it.
Wow.
So,
so that's late 14. This picture goes to late January of 15. And if you notice, it's a plain white car. Now it's got some cool looking graphics on it for 2015.
Yep.
And that's at Bradenton.
Correct. U.S. Street.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, you're cheating that Kansas weather in the winter, and you bailed and went to Florida.
Yeah, we never got to do that. That was pretty cool to get to go down and be a snowbird even if for just the weekend, right?
Right.
But that was a cool thing. We had to campaign, the whole class did, to get that class to run there because it was big at other races, but those races were predominantly, the snowbirds and the U.S. Street Nats were all like pro mod stuff. They didn't have classes for small tire. They didn't for the longest time. You had to fit a class you weren't even fast enough to run just to make passes or go down and test. But yeah, we went down there. I mean, the car is still fresh at this point. It's like our fourth race. We got the car wrapped, we got it rewired, made a couple other changes in the converter. But we were ready to. We didn't have no championship to run for back then, other than the RTRA, and we still wanted to campaign like wild men. We went to so many races that year that it was too much, but we had a lot of fun.
This is I think this is another Bradenton photo.
Yeah, that thing was so good. Gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good looking car, man. Woo!
Dude.
With the polished wheels. Woo wee.
When the black was outdone, man. I like black wheels, but I mean, back then, everybody had the Batiste V Series black up front. Like, I don't like what everybody else got. So you didn't have a whole lot of 17 Lumistars polished out there. Like, no, nope.
Right.
It's split out.
This is from Pro Torque, March 16, 2015. Winner X275 North Star Dragway RTRA #1 qualifier and new world record holder 444 161.
Yep.
Man.
Yes, so
a lot's changed since then.
Yeah, the whole class has changed. I mean, that's not even a world record for Ultra Street.
Right.
Yeah. But that was fast back then. I mean, we were one of the only ones. We had the prototype EV1 in that car. And just before that was set in Denton, and just before that race, we were in Georgia, and we had that transmission out every pass. Transmission was Mickey's, converter. We were changing this stator. We get it back. We do this. We got that. And we got it to run the 49. And then when we got to Denton, we had stumbled upon some things with the charge pressure and whatnot. And that's when we really found the way to make it fly. Calevis goes, you'll never be able to race it like that, spooling it like that, because it's just not, you just can't race like that. He goes, but I mean, it's fast for now. I said, well, that's what we got. And that's how we gonna race. And we did. And we ended up #1 qualifier, set the world record, won the race. We slammed the door and broke the glass that weekend in Denton. And that was cool. It went a 46 with me pedaling. He goes, it won't go faster. I said, John, I pedaled the car like 3 times. Like, yeah, and it's funny to go back and listen to Chris Dingman on that. And he's like, man, we're thinking thousands and he's thinking hundreds, because it went a 446 and then we turn around and back it up with a 444. And that car was in the 40s like every round that weekend except for one when we had a boost leak. But yeah.
Man. Also, okay, so this is still March, but here's a picture. What is this engine combo?
It's just like right now, and even back then, it's just a Windsor-based block. I don't even remember what block was in it back there. I know it's got a CGI block in it now. Heads are the same, just billet heads done by Lucido. That intake manifold is a cast. I don't even think they make that lower manifold anymore. Cast Edelbrock, and then that whole top piece was made by the guys at Pressurized Solutions. But it's got GRP rods. I can't even remember what crank they put in it. We just changed it. I think it's had like a Cali's in it. GRP rods, Ross pistons, just basic, nothing crazy. The recipe for a car like that, it's in the heads and it's in the camshaft. That's where you make the power. And a lot of the things that a lot of the guys like Calevis wanted to do and Bennett wanted to do, we wanted to do different. And we chose to do different for a reason. And even when he wanted us to swap intakes, like, man, this thing only makes 30 pounds of boost at the time. Like, what? We don't even make enough to utilize a big Thompson, billet intake that he wanted us to run. And a lot of those decisions, like, it's not just like, with all the people that loved you because you came back racing or you're racing or they found you, there's a ton of people that hated us that were real friends of like Fishers and Holes and, and just all the mumbo jumbo. Like I had to talk to one of his fans one time and I said, man, you just think we fell out of a tree and learned how to race. Like, we don't know what's going on. Like, that's not what's going on here, man. Like, our setup's different. We have a voice. It's, and we're that serious about racing. I mean, we're not there to make friends and influence enemies. I mean, we're there to win. And it's we don't go there just to have fun. I mean, we're having fun when we're winning. I mean, it's different now with our kids, obviously. We love to spend the time now with our children that we didn't necessarily have as much before. But man, we love to go out there and put everything we got into it and come out swinging with whoever.
Yep. Whoever's in the other lane, bring it on.
100%. Always.
This is April 2015. This is a deal from KBX 444 X275 record holder. You said that's an awesome ad/hero card. That is a really cool.
It was
really cool picture. Yeah.
Yeah. It had us on one side and Fisher on the other side. That was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yang.
He had the black coupe, right?
Yep. I call them yin and yang. They never, every time we tested together, they never got along. His car would always throw a fit. I don't know. Just something stupid would happen. Like, always.
This goes to June. Looks like you're back at Denton, mid-June 2015.
Yep.
And then another deal from Joe at Pro Torque. Winner X275 North Star Dragweight RTRA. Jared Johnston and Team White Riot. You win again at Denton.
Well, I'm telling you, that was a fun race. That was our house. For sure.
Yeah.
We did good.
Here you are at Tulsa in the summer of 2015.
Screw
July.
That race. Screw that race. No. That air was so thick when we walked out of the trailer, like you could cut it with a knife. It was the most miserable race I've ever been to. I've never been more happy to lose first round than at that race. And been totally fine with it.
That's a terrible time to race in late July. Woo.
Dude, it was a night race. And, we went up there and had the wrong tune-up in the car. It spun at the hit, had no momentum. I was running we were number 2 qualifier. Chris Groves was number 1. And we ended up, I couldn't run the guy down. It was a 490 car. And I just gave up. I'm like, if I can't catch this guy on the third pedal, like, I don't even, we're done. And that guy actually ended up making it to the final. And he was going to run Chase Driscoll in Moyer's silver car back when he had the 80 millimeter on methanol combo. Like, that had just come out. And this dude he beat us, he beat Goss, he beat some other big heavy hitter. And he got to the final. And I guess this dude was pretty brazen and beating his chest pretty good. And Chase is like, you feel pretty good? And he's like, yeah, man, I beat the Riot. I beat Goss. I beat this guy. And you're next. And he's like, man, I'm going to tell you something right now. Like, I don't know how you got as far as you did, but like this whole Cinderella story, like, it's midnight. Your dance is over. I'm gonna mess you up. And he's like, yeah, if you don't go red, he goes, I'm waiting for green. I have, 3/10 on you. Like, it'll be all right, bud. And he did. He beat him. That was the Sunrise Nationals, dude. That race. I think we lost first round and went home and left at like 2:30 in the morning. It was that race horrible. We've never done good at that track though, ever. For the couple times we've been there, always had problems. I like the facility, but
yeah.
That was July. This goes to Denton. This is number 1 champion White Riot, November 8th of 2015. You got some big trophy you're hoisting up there.
That was the first X275 championship that was contested outside of, say, like Cecil County. We're basically the birthplace of it. RTRA, which is what is now, what Sears uses, was originally started by Gene Nicodemus, to my understanding. And that was the Radial Tire Racers Association. That was not only to be contested at Denton, but it was supposed to be contested at Tulsa. And I think even Wichita was going to get brought into it at some point. And that was when the Ash family was there. But anyways, they had a rain out in Tulsa and had some issues there. And so all the races ended up happening at Denton. Man, like I said, I think we went to all 5 finals that year and lost one of them.
Dang.
To I think it was Taylor Laster is who we got beat by. But it was that trophy was awesome. I still got that trophy. That's one that you
keep. Really cool.
Oh, dude, it's sitting upstairs on my parents' mantle. Like it's right inside the front door. It's a big deal. Super heavy, dude. Super heavy.
Yeah. That was November of 15, and then I just wasn't paying attention or didn't see that this happened. You was in 30 for 30 with Drag Illustrated in 2015.
Correct. So I seen the marketing for it. Never thought to even try to pimp out or get people to vote for me. And I was hit up by Wes Buck, and Wes was like, hey, have you thought about this? And I'm like, I mean, honestly, I haven't even tried for it. He's like, okay, cool. And then he hit me back up and he's like, I just want you to know you made the 30 under 30. I'm like, well, I didn't even send anything out really. I shared it once. And he's like, well, it was a unanimous vote from everybody here at Drag Illustrated. You're in. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. So that was a cool deal.
That is really cool. Well, years later, but congratulations.
Yeah, definitely years later. Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I never got to go to PRI and celebrate it with everybody else. I had a lot of things in my home life and my personal life that really were starting to change around this time. We literally made it to the top of the mountain, everywhere I wanted to be in my racing career, and then things took a turn for the worst. So shortly after this, but
right, gotcha. Yeah. December 15. Dun dun dun. I think that got out of order a little bit.
Oh, you're fine.
So is this date right? February of 15 with Lights Out 6? Does that seem about right?
Yep, that was the second trip to Georgia. So
this is a really awesome picture.
Yeah, we had seen, I think it was Ronnie and Ron Rhodes did that on Thursday with their cars, or Wednesday before the race, and I seen it and I was like, that's cool. And then Joel Greathouse, for KBX ended up winning Ultra Street, and then we ended up with X275, so we went and did the same thing. Definitely an awesome photo. And I'd always looked up to Joel from just one of those guys I always followed, one of my heroes, and that was a cool moment to share with him for sure.
Yeah.
One of the
and he's in yeah. And he's out of the go ahead, Rod.
Go ahead.
No, you said like OG or something like that.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, no, that's what you said. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, he out of the KBX camp also too, right?
Correct. Yeah, that was. I mean, it was really a juggernaut. Like gosh, what is his name? Steve Wilson, and I think he's out of Tulsa, Oklahoma City. That he had that Chevelle that run X275. Is that right?
Chris Wilson.
There you go. So he came over. There was people buying parts left and right off these cars. And he was one of them that came up to me in Denton and patted me on the shoulder, and he goes, "Hey man," he goes, he goes, "Thanks for making me spend about 50 grand." And I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, I just bought a motor like yours." I was like, "Oh, cool." He's like, "Yeah, because I blew mine up before we even made qualifying. So now I'm going to put one of those motors in my stuff." And
oh man,
he put it in great. Didn't he?
I don't know. No, he bought the Bruters motor and put in that 5th gen. This was, I think it was before he built that car. It was still in his Chevelle, I think, at that time. I think it's hard to remember. Put it all back. That car was so gorgeous. Everything that guy's ever had is.
Oh yeah,
it's nice stuff,
dude. Yeah.
Chris Grafton is watching. He says it's the world famous legend Jared Johnston. He knows what's up. This was a deal also. Pro Tour winner, X275, Lights Out 6, number 1 qualifier, and top speed 449, 166.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we beat Patrick Clenny in the final there. Yep.
Okay.
That.
This picture was cool. I was looking through your pictures. Like, man, this is a great photo right here. Your dad, and is that your brother or Kaliva's?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Man, what a good time.
Dude, all I've ever wanted to do was be a great ambassador for the sport, have lots of friends, and help people coming up in the sport, and work with people. I mean, heck, I know we're not one of the onlys or the only, but every time we buy shirts, we don't make any money on them because we give them all away. We like the kids that come up and their families that they have money to get in a race, but they don't have any money to get any of the merch. Like, we understand that. And, we like it, the kids to get in the cars. And I've had kids put on my safety gear and my helmet and the gloves, or we've had them fire up the car. And, even at Flying H, like, there was people walking to and from in the pits. And anyways, there was a family of kids, and I was like, hey, you want to get in the car? Like, I love that about the sport and being able to do that for people. And I love, like I said, even the Brian Carpenter thing, man, I geek out. Like, I love being able to see those guys. And I know there's people that do it when we show up too. There's nothing I think that's cooler than to take a car that's world renowned like that and take it to some small track somewhere and then show up and people go, oh my gosh, you know, because it's cool, man. I mean, it's just, and then that moment right there was just the culmination of, you know, when I started racing the white car and bought and spent all my money on this thing, we made 30 passes on the car, and every racer comes to a fork in the road where you either go, I'm going to make a terrible financial decision because it's what I want to do, or I'm going to quit. And you know, this was one of my dreams, to be on top and to be one of the best, watching Mike Murillo, John Urist, you know, and SSO and all the guys in all the ranks, and wanting to be like them. And that was the start of it. Like, I got to win South Georgia. There ain't a whole lot of people have them cowboy hats. Like, that's a big deal. That's a big trophy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when you win that race, I mean, this is what it looks like. You won this race in the winter. When you come back in the fall, you're on the t-shirt, right?
It was like the next year, but yeah. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Well, there you are.
Yeah.
You're on the dang t-shirt, man.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was cool.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, and before we started racing this car in X, I had actually taken a family vacation down in Florida with my ex-wife. And Donald lived like 5 minutes from her grandparents' house. And I'm texting this dude, and he's like, yeah, if you want to come over, we'll hang out. So I got to go to Donald's house. We shot the bull, and I'm like, this is cool. And we shared all kinds of stories. Guy was super nice, sent me with all kinds of memorabilia. I was just a fan. And then, you know, fast forward, you know, 3 years later, I get to be on one of his shirts. Like, that's pretty cool.
Wow.
That is cool.
That's great.
That's pretty neat.
This just let's see. This is this year, right? Lights Out 15.
Yep.
Okay. Car still looks good, man. Clean,
Clevis
white.
looks old. Look how old Clevis looks.
Got the glasses on. Yeah.
I love that guy to death.
That's funny.
He's a cool dude, man.
A pit picture here.
Yep, that's Damon's. Yep, I was so mad. He took a picture in the pits. I'm like, the car looks like crap. Like, there's handprints all over everything. Like, let me wipe the car down. He's like, I don't care about that. I'm like, Damon's good friends. I love him to death too. Good people. The relationships you make in the racing community last for a lifetime.
Yep. That was, you know, that picture. It's dated March, but here we go to. This is at Flying H, and we saw you there, you know, back in May. Yep.
Yeah, I think Taylor took a picture at Chris Grafton's. It's his wife. He took that picture of that. Yeah.
That was good.
She did a great photo.
Yep. We got one more picture, and this was brought up a while ago, and so we talk about it again because this is a post that you made. You put this picture up. This is July 29th, just pretty recent. You said, "Who misses the White Riot when she was wrapped? I feel it's time to dress her up again."
Correct.
What's the plan?
Well, we are, you know, it's a different world out there. There's a lot of money out there to make in sponsorships, you know, and we've got sponsorships on the car now from, you know, my best friend, Brandon Webster, and his business, Taos Performance. You know, he's partners with my dad in that. They're a big help on that.
Leave it white.
They're a big help. They're a big help on that and on the car. You know, he wired the car himself on Fuel Tech. That was cool. and they're a big sponsor on the car. And then Chris Grafton's helped us out. His stickers on the car. We've got some another local sponsor that wants to help, but we're trying to reach out and do something pretty similar to what it was. But we're trying to work on a multi-car partnership because we are building another car that will be slated for several types of racing, including X275. And in theory, hearing it first, there's a very likely chance there will be a 2-car team for X275 in 2025.
Wow.
And for local races, Flying H as well.
Who's going to pilot the 2 cars?
I'll probably continue to pilot this car, and my brother is going to probably pilot. It's his car that he's building right now. And another white Fox body. I think he's going with a Gen 2 LS as well. I
understand.
So
I'm vibing you here. I got you.
yeah. So he's gonna do that, and we'll see. But I'm sure there will be several races where both cars are out and swinging. Both are white. It'll look very similar to Alan Feltz's car. As he's going for. So, data is shared between both cars. There'll be a lot of ups and downs for it. And, we just look forward to have fun. But, and the difference in being able to offer that, I've been working especially on something in the future that I hope works out for like No Prep Kings or No Prep Elite, for something with that as well. So obviously getting sponsors for TV time is way easier. And I'm currently in talks with several companies on that. And then I should know more here in the future and hopefully have all this stuff signed and dealed and done and ready for next year. And, look forward to a very, very fun year next year.
Good luck with that.
That's awesome, dude. Thanks for sharing that info with us. That's cool.
Yeah, you heard it first.
Man, we heard it here, right?
That's right.
That's awesome.
So we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I know we're making some big changes now. Hopefully, be testing before or right at SmackDown, and then we're putting a lockup in the car, doing some other changes as well, putting a different wing on it, different hatch, deck lid on it, and taking some weight and moving some weight around in the car. But we're really hoping to get that thing to fly come No Mercy. So that's the goal.
Cool.
So
you got some exciting stuff in the works. Good deal.
It's getting there. I mean, it's been a long time coming, but it's been we haven't raced a whole lot. I mean, in 8 years, that car is literally sat in the same trim it's in on jack stands. We unloaded it, went straight to Fuel Tech, went straight to Georgia. Thing went 20s.
Jeez.
Just, after sitting for that long. And then, those guys that we're racing against and chasing, they've made this power and done this for 2 years. We're trying to get it done in a year, catch them. So, but those guys are fast, man. And it's crazy how fast they are. It is super competitive.
Yeah, it changes so fast. It changes, man.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely. 100%.
That's all the pictures we got.
Yeah.
On your side. Rodney, you got anything over there? For Jared?
Pretty good there. 2.5 hours in.
Great stories, man. Give him a chance to thank his sponsors and people that help him out.
Yeah, man. Hey, dude. Bennett Racing Engines, KBX Performance, Calivas, Mark Menser Motorsports, Mark Mickey, obviously. Brandon with Taos Performance, Chris Grafton Fabrication, Tyler Bronson with Bronson Speeds helped polish our car as well. Fuel Tech, of course. Luis, he's going to be helping us a lot with the lockup and whatnot. Derek and Drew with Pressurized Solutions. I can't wait to get some more stuff finished on the car and get it ready. But Yeah, man. I know with who we have on our team, you let us, it's the same thing I told Dave Height when we run Vamp back in the day, and we had a car that was the nitrous setup. We were half second slower than everybody else. And I said, you give us a car that makes the same power as everybody else, you got a problem. And we're going to win, and we're going to win a lot. And we did. And, you let us catch up to everybody else. I'm going to tell you what, they've got a serious problem. We're coming. And we're coming in a big way. So.
And this is a question we can't let get away. Joseph Thomas says, how was it named White Riot?
You want the politically correct version of that story or the actual story?
The condensed story.
There's a couple reasons. One, I can justify it. A white riot is obviously a disturbance. When we talked before the show, like when we run Vamp, we went to like every final for 2 straight years, 2.5 years, something like that. It was like 19 races in a row. We went to every final of every race we entered. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. When we got the car done in 2014, and we were testing it at Holly Springs, and of course, Drew and Derek are from Alabama, so they've got a southern twang to them. They move their lips when they talk, but not much. And Drew's one of the comedians, and he goes, you guys name that car yet? And we go, no, we ain't come up with a name yet. And he goes, you guys remember, first of all, what was going on around August or September of 2014? What life event was going on back then?
I don't.
Missouri.
What's that?
In Missouri.
2014. Okay, I got you.
Rodney knows.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, he goes, how far you guys all live from Ferguson? I said, about 3 hours. He goes, why don't y'all call that car a White Riot? And it stuck and never got rid of it. But no, it was one of the funnier things. But yeah, no, it never went away. I could never get rid of it. Now I'll tell you what, wearing these shirts in Texas, and mostly in Texas, the looks you would get until they see the back of the shirt was pretty bad. There's a lot of people wanting to rough us up. Now, some of my best friends are in Texas, but I'll tell you what, man, it would cause some commotion and be a conversation piece until they saw the back of the shirt. And they were like, oh, that's cool. I get it. It's just the name of the car. So,
right.
But yeah, no, it's just funny. But you'll never forget when the car was built, and it's a life, I mean, that was a big storyline back then.
Yeah.
I always remember when it was built. So.
Right.
What's the name of your car, Rodney?
Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah.
Gary?
Shiny white horse. I don't name my stuff.
Seriously?
I'm serious, dude. I don't name my car. I think I love Street Outlaws. I think that's the most ridiculous thing that's popped out of Street Outlaws is everybody naming their cars.
I agree.
Everybody can do their thing, but I don't name my car. I called a lot of names day to day. I called a lot of stuff.
You call everything called a race car.
People naming cars was way before Street Outlaws.
I know. But it got really mainstream when the street racers and all the Street Outlaw stuff. And I don't know, I'm just not on board with a name of a car.
I thought it was the Tomato. Is that what someone in that?
That's come from outside. I've never called it any type of fruit or flavor or tomato or tomato. No, I'm just not on the car name stuff.
You should call it Big Red because no one's ever named a red car Big Red before.
Big Red. It better do some big, spectacular things. Ketchup also. I've never called it ketchup. No. Yeah, I call it much worse things than that.
Ford
did. It's called Mustang.
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Clifford
the Big Red Dog. Yeah, the stuff I call it is not very nice.
You got 2 for Clifford.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now
Clifford.
we're gonna have to sign a petition and make Gary name his car now. That's
Oh man, I don't know.
no.
Yeah.
Great.
Funny.
Gary, why don't you grab our sponsors real quick?
Do this and run up here. There we go. Give a shout out to these great marketing partners in 2024: Mid-America Dragway, Ultra Color Collision Repair, Sandland Iron and Metal Auto Salvage, and Harry Street Carpet. Thank you for being awesome partners in 2024. Awesome.
Well, Jared, thanks for coming on. Great stories.
Yep.
Like I said, I knew you before I knew you, that car. And just thinking about it, I was listening to your stories that, you make these decisions along the way, and just think, that one decision you made where you decided to do the white car, but what if you never talked to Calivas? What if KBX never came in,
Correct.
What things would be. That's just interesting to think through. That's a great choice back then.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the fact that when this all started, like getting to that fork in the road, I mean, we literally made 30 passes on the setup and everything was fresh, and some fluke deal, polylock broke, got in the oil pump, locked it up, going through the lights, and, Dad takes it down to Koontz, and, $10,000 later, the motor's fixed. Well, I had to max out a credit card and spend every dime I ever had just to get it back. And then when we're racing, I have to win to have the money to pay my bills.
Yeah.
Because it's terrible financial decisions, but literally not having the money to do anything. Like, I got my truck payment due this month and I have to pay it. I got to win this race that paid $500. Well, that'll pay my truck payment. Like, yeah. I mean, those were the things that were so stupid, but I wanted to be on top that bad, and I wasn't willing to give up on myself that early. And I mean, even today, like, I'm a little smarter financially now. I may try to be, but, hopefully one day get back on top. So,
here's a great question from Chris right here.
Chris Grafton. Yeah. Chris says, anyone you haven't raced who you want to race?
Chris, I'm going to mess you up. Don't even start that. You ain't got a snowball.
Does he have some inside dirt?
No, I mean, I'd race. There ain't a person that I wouldn't race. I don't even care if we got in a top fuel car. Like, I'll race anybody. There's tons of people I want to race. It never stops.
I think your guys know something else.
I think so too.
I do too.
He wants
says, here we go. But we didn't go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. He likes to talk that smack. Well, I mean, you guys will see it. It'll be at Flying H at some point.
Oh, yeah.
The only chance he got is if he has a tennis ball race with me. So.
Oh, man.
Very cool.
Well, you ready to 2 hours and 33 minutes into this?
Oh, hold on a second.
Oh, what do we got? Oh, looky there. Beater bomb.
Oh, it's coming. It'll happen one day.
Sure.
Okay.
It'll happen. I raced Hackman. I screwed that up, but that's all right.
Sure.
We'll get to run again here soon, I'm sure.
Fair enough.
They'll be around. They're not going anywhere.
No. Good people.
Yeah.
Yep. Fun stuff.
Jared, thanks for coming on. You did a great job. Learned a lot about you.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yep.
We'll see you.
Awesome stories, man. Good job.
SmackDown, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir. We're trying. I mean, I'll be there as a fan if we are. Regardless, I'll be there.
Yeah. All right. Any final things?
That's it, man. Just thank you very much for letting me come on here. Appreciate it, guys.
You did a great job.
Yep. Thanks for your time, Jared.
Hey, thanks, Gary.
Yep. And we will see you in a few weeks at Flying H.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you.
Later, Jared. Bye.
Later.
Yeah. Great stories.
Awesome stories, man, dude.
As I was listening, that's what I was doing. I was just listening. And like I said before, I knew him before I knew him. And all those guys he was talking about, with the SSO, he missed, talking about, Chris Derrick, Jason Coleman, Mike Murillo, all those cats.
Yeah.
those are the guys. And
yeah,
you know, in 16, 17, he's dominating X275. You know,
right.
X and Bennett and Mark Biddle deal, just that whole deal. And then when we met him at Flying H, at least when I met him, great guy, took a picture, you know,
Just a dude.
Came before the race, after the race, hung out in the pits, you know, and he's the dude, you know, on these hero cards and doing all this stuff, winning these championships. That's just awesome.
Wearing this duck straw hat and setting records and yeah.
But he had to eat ramen noodles to get there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How bad do you want it? Right.
Yeah, great show. That's it too. You're right. Out in the garage, wrenching. Yeah. Good stuff.
Man.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
he had great fun stories, man. That was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yep.
Well, we caught up on our comments?
Yep, there's no comments. Next week, come back for number 49. We'll have Larry and Al. That is for sure to be a good time with Larry and Al.
Yeah.
Larry and Al with the Titans. If you don't know who Larry and Al is, leading up to going to race at Tulsa with the Titans at 10-5 in September. Hopefully it brings some nice weather also.
Yes.
And we're ready for the fall racing.
Yes.
Yes, bring it on.
Gary says he's going to name his car between now and then.
Right. I'll call it some things between now and then. For sure.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
That was funny stuff.
Cool. All right, Gary.
Yep.
Great job. A lot of work went into it. You do a great job setting all those pictures up. I know it's a lot of work on the front end to get that done. People don't get to see that, and I know you spent hours there. You did a great job doing that. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, it's fun stuff to learn about these guys and their back history and their stories, and pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like we've said before, when you put it out there in a form like this, you know, it's out there and it's locked in, and you know, them stories are there, and that history and how these guys got started and what they're doing now, and so it's fun stuff. It's good.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Well, you ready?
All right. Well, I'm ready. Let me get the smacker lubed up here. Oh, I can get the right one. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Pow.
Nice.
Oh. All right. Yeah, let's pull the plug on this, and we will be back next Sunday with Larry and Al. Don't miss it. They are awesome. Definitely going to be a good lead up to the Titans in Tulsa.
Yes.
We're done. Yes. And we're done for the night. See you later. Thank you. 2 hours and 38 minutes into this. We'll see you later. See you, Rod.
See you, Gary.